You let one ant stand up to us, then all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
Do not forget. Expect us.
This is a message to all supporters. A message to all freedom fighters, to all dissenters, to all forgotten. A call to all intellectuals, to all journalists. A call to all freethinkers. A call for intelligence. This is a call to all poets. A call to the strong and the weak. A call to all young people. To the wise, to the astucious. We want you to join us. We are on the streets of Tokyo. In the skyscrapers of New York. In the lanes of Paris. In the cellars of Munich. On Moscow's icy places. On the cobbled streets of Dublin. This is a call to all people. To the youth. Join us in the fight for freedom of information. Search for us, and you will find us. We are among you. We are you. Everyone you speak with can be a member of Anonymous. We have no leaders, only an orientation. We have no targets, only results. You cannot stop us, because we are an idea. We cannot be eliminated, because we are invisible. If you try to mock us, we will mock ourselves. If you try to slander us, we will accept the defamation. We are the king's jesters with daggers. We are the dancing bear which tears to pieces the laughing mob. We are Anonymous. We are a legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us, just as we expect you.
of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
that was about.
And welcome to Anonymous Bites Back, episode 136. We are live back here on another Thursday. You know, I got some more things to report. You know, I'll start with our Facebook bashing, but, you know, before I start with Facebook bashing, I'm going to start out with an article from, you know, I like the Facebook bash, especially on my own Twitter feed, with, when Business Insiders are telling you to delete your Facebook. When Business Insider posted a video on how to, or an article on how to delete your WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm serious.
Like all at once.
All at once. Yeah. They were telling you how to do it and all that shit. But what I do want to kind of get a hold of is the new FAFSA, or not FAFSA, that's the federal grant, SOSA thing, where site owners would be responsible for their content or any affiliations that they had, which also was a law that was used in the Backpage.com site, which promoted prostitution, and the site owners were held accountable for the activity that was on their website. Well, I just came across from TechCrunch, and I'm not sure if this is getting much coverage, but Facebook ads and Google ads sent money to kiddie porn sites. Yeah, you heard me right. Kiddie porn sites and apps not approved by the Play Store or the App Store. Yes, there are underground weird shit like that kind of floating around, but they were also the ads also went on to all of those weird apps that pedophiles use, and somebody somewhere knew that this was going on.
Oh, once again, like a pedophile ring and the rich and powerful? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And this is not getting much coverage. I think they're trying to fucking extinguish this flame before it gets pretty big, because only TechCrunch is really covering it. But they don't. TechCrunch does have some bad articles, but do redact. But this one hasn't been redacted in the last 12 hours. So I'm thinking there's a lot more. There's a lot more to this than to be seen, but
well, it's the WHO. These are like known pedophile rings and known pedophile sites that they're connected with. You know, these aren't even like Darknet, you know, hidden places. You know, these are well-known places where they deal in kiddie porn, and they still, you know, it's something that we deal with all the time. If you're posting about peace and unity, or the flaws in Facebook, they shut you down. If you run a pedophile ring, if you're molesting children, then they'll send you a check.
Yeah, they'll tell you you're redirecting it to them. They'll charge you. If you ever dealt with pedophiles, they'll tell you. Facebook will even tell you that they can't do nothing about it because it's that country's laws. The internet is free and open air.
Yeah, like it's on one thing, there's nothing that we can do about it, and then when you ask, okay, well then how come I don't have freedom of speech, then it's like, oh, we're a private company, we control all the information on here. Like, which is it? Are you a private company that controls it all, and there's not shit anybody can do with it? That's the price you pay for using their system, or is it that they each individual country, and there is nothing that you can do about it, and you have control? You can't have it both ways.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. If I had $1 for every time, anytime, you know, a creep catcher or a pedo hunt came to me, you know, with, you know, this stuff is becoming, like, I didn't know, like, getting into activism, like a while ago, like, that it was so, like, pedophilia was so prominent, like, you know, I always thought it was like, I didn't know the scope of how big it was, you know.
Well, and I mean, once that was kind of, you know, one of the big things that we did in Anon was these pedo operations, and I mean, it's overwhelming. And then when you do go and talk to authorities, when you do try to give them information, they really don't care. They really aren't interested in it. You can say, hey, look, these are the names and where they are. They don't care. They don't investigate it. They don't.
And it's always been a big battle between hacker and pedo. pretty much wrote the internet, came up with everything there. So and they have more to hide than the government, so they have to work harder, come up with more programs. It's a terrible fight, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what I'm kind of wondering is why is the authorities not holding Facebook to account that they were funding
Pedophile rings?
yeah. Yeah.
Pedo sites?
It's the Pedophile Protection Act that Obama signed in. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't do nothing about it, so just enable them and document them.
Yeah, what was it? The Pope came out and gave a speech. Okay, guys,
Well,
no
you-
more molesting of the children.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah.
Like, that was the most that they, like just a random kind of overreaching statement. All right, guys, party's over.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
want to hand over the names of all the living child molesters that you guys know about? Oh, no.
yeah, you know, I just hope a federal case comes out of this, you know, like I really want to see Facebook burn.
I doubt it, to be honest.
It'd be hard to do, especially with net neutrality, or not net neutrality laws, but freedom of information.
Well, the SOSA Act was supposed to, you know, hold domain owners accountable for shit like this, you know, and it just seems like if you got, you know, just like with any other criminal act, you know, anywhere in the world, you know, money talks and people walk, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Money.
Let me see. Facebook did have a turnaround in their stocks. They're up a little bit today, but so was the whole stock market. But overall, in the last 5 months, check this out. If you're an investor if you're investing your money in Facebook, they're down 38% since July. That's not good.
Show us your Christmas presents. Show us what you bought. Show us your living room, your Christmas tree. Show us how it's decorated. We need to sell that to the advertisers. What do you like?
Well, and there
sorry.
really wasn't a thing this year. You know, normally they've got like your, you know, Tickle Me Elmo or like that must-have piece of shit that they push on everybody, right? There really wasn't, you know, a toy or a thing this year that they pushed like that. It was all very targeted. You know, anything that you searched at, you were kind of like overwhelmed with whatever that was. Dear God, if you typed in that you wanted a bicycle.
Yeah.
Got plenty of gun advertisements, that's for sure. Deals on scopes, deals on clips.
Oh, your last chance to buy a bump stock.
You know what? I'm hearing. You know what I heard about the bump stocks, which is kind of weird. Is well, not kind of weird. People are challenging that law, and even though the banning has gone into effect, there are lawsuits trying to prevent the ban from going on.
Oh, I'm sure the NRA is funding the shit out of them.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, they are. They support it.
A bump stock, like, is retarded. Like, if you've ever used a bump stock, which I have, they're fucking retarded, okay? I mean, it's a retarded... Like, when you go full auto on those things, they fucking spray bullets everywhere. Not in a straight line. I mean, you can kind of get, like... I mean, because of the way that it creates the automatic fire from it. But I'd say they're more dangerous than anything else, because you're not going to hit anything you're aiming at.
Well, I mean, no. If you're just spraying, you can. I mean, that's kind of the point.
Yeah, spray and pray method.
Spray and pray.
Yeah,
but you can get the same effect from a bump stock from a belt loop.
Well, I mean, there's always ways around it. It just makes it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're getting into a fucking gun debate, but Jesus, like, you know, there comes a point where it's like, all right, what are you planning on using this for?
I remember the first time I heard about a bump stock. It was like 2 years ago. My friend had an AR-15, and he's like, he had this like I thought it was a retracting stock, and I go, what the fuck is that? He goes, oh, it's a bump stock. It makes it fully automatic, and I was just like, that's fucking retarded. The thing fucking jiggles around.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I'm not. It just being ex-military. I'm not a fan of full auto weapons. Like, I only need the one, right? Like,
yeah.
You can do more damage with a single shot than you can auto. Yeah, that's true.
I'm a conservative at heart. I'm seeing dollar signs every time something goes down my barrel.
I mean, even the military is like, hey, don't use it unless you got to. Those things cost money.
Well, it's like, I mean, for cover on your way out, like, maybe. But, I mean, besides a machine gun that's specifically designed to be a machine gun, I mean, it's just full auto is ridiculous. I mean, you're not... How much... Yeah.
Well,
like you saw, I mean, in the last shooting, in the last couple of shootings you've seen, like, you got to carry, bags and bags and bags full of fucking ammunition. You go through a 60-round clip in a like, what's the point?
Well, yeah, you also destroy your barrels when they get too hot.
Oh, you're gonna have to trade those out.
Yeah.
That's all heavy too. It's just a lot to carry around. You gonna carry 300 rounds with you? 6, 8, 12?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah.
That might work for Rambo, but I'm not that big.
Got some tied around your head in a headband.
Yeah. Oh, it's an anti-gravity headband, so all the stuff on your back weighs less.
Oh, the Rambo band.
Mm-hmm.
I heard they're making another Rambo where he's a cowboy.
With Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah, it's coming out next year.
Fuck, I mean, at this point, you're almost letting him kill you out of respect.
I get on my knees, don't worry.
Yeah, oh shit, it's fucking Stallone. All right. I mean, come on, Grandpa. Great, Grandpa. No, he's in great shape for a 75-year-old, but I'm going to be honest, I think we could outrun him.
Is he 75? He's getting there.
He looks great for his age. That's not what I'm saying, but at a certain point, like, okay. We'll have to save this town. I'm a gunfighter. Like, is he going to go with, like, a southern accent, or is he still going to rock the fucking Jersey accent in the middle of the Wild West?
Hey, Adrian,
Adrian. Oh, he's getting 75 at this point. I'm sure there's a couple where he's just, what's my line? Hands in the air. There we go.
It's like being at an Ozzy concert.
I love watching Ozzy Osbourne just walk around looking completely and utterly confused.
Yeah, that's how he is when I've seen him play like quite a few times. He always looks like he's got like Alzheimer's up there.
Just drug timers.
Drug timers, there you go. That's a good one. I remember
that. You look into Ozzy's eyes and you can see he is still tripping.
He's just happy to be alive.
Oh, he may not even realize whether he is or is not alive. I'm not sure.
I should have done all those drugs, but damn, it was worth it.
Yeah, he may be rocking the, like, Weekend at Bernie's thing, where just every time somebody plays a fucking, the Black Sabbath song, he starts fucking... Alive. Yeah. Sharon.
Sharon! What else happened this week? Yeah. So we did get some insider information on how Facebook does do its censoring. Besides how it's doing using Rosetta and the back algorithms that it was working on. But do you remember in 2016 when everybody was losing their profiles and web and business pages? Do you remember that? Is everybody on the panel remember that?
No, about losing a page.
There's been a couple of big purges, so I don't...
Well, that was a big purge where people lost thousands of accounts and pages.
Dollars.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, literally, right after the election, we went from like 2 million followers to 250,000 in one day.
Yes, so that was not done by an algorithm. What not all of it, but a lot of what they were doing is Facebook hires companies all over the world to outsource their moderation, because they only have like 20,000 dedicated employees for moderation. So what they were doing is they you know, the people at the call centers in India and all around the world that, you know, with the outsource when you call to like Sprint or whatever, or so,
I think it's India and the Philippines.
So they hired people from the call centers who had no expertise on moderation. Some of them didn't even know how to use computers. Some of them didn't know how to read English. Some of them didn't. Some of them were relying on Google Translate for interpretation of what they were saying. And these were the people that were deleting your content. And these are the people that Facebook put in the hands of moderating on what is censorship or not. Like, some of them don't understand. Some of them were relying on information that were months old. And this all points down to mismanagement of the company. You know, like, they don't, it was a shit show from the ground up, you know?
Well, I mean, normally when you put in the words outsourcing or outsource, you know, you're immediately kind of falling into that same old, you know, business structure. Outsourcing and the fall of your company normally go hand in hand.
Yeah. Well, somebody could have been high.
Well, like, you know, some of the
2 blunts later, delete.
Some of the workers were told at one point, I'm just quoting from some of the shit that I found out, that they were supposed to delete any content that hated on a religion. And that was the only thing that they were given. So what did they do? Anything that was anti-religious, delete. You know?
Yeah, or, I mean, and it's not just, I mean, it goes into questioning, and, you know, like, the net gets so big. You know, look at all the times that we talk out, you know, that we call out the prosperity gospels. You know, are you speaking out against religion, or, you know, molestation in the church? You know, those were the things that they ended up taking down as well. Anything negative about Gaza?
Today?
Israel. Oh, sorry. Somebody wants to know about the Yellow Vest movement. I told them it was still going strong last I checked.
Yeah,
I
was hoping John could jump on, but I think he's sleeping.
I mean, we're running a bunch of Twitter accounts and, you know, and social media pages. I will say, like, it's slowly but surely, like, simmering under the surface. You know, so the first day you started seeing, or the first, you know, couple of weeks, you've started seeing, you know, more and more of the Statue of Liberty picture with the yellow vest, you know, being profile pictures. And, like, you are starting to see it more and more and more, but it's getting, like, zero coverage on the corporate media as normal. But no, Yellow Vest USA, if you guys aren't, you know, feel free to get on there and check us out. But we're kind of going, look, every Saturday. You don't need a permit for revolution. You need a permit to protest. We ain't protesting.
Oh, yeah, and don't use Facebook to set up your events. They know who you are. They're going to shut it down. They've done this with Me and Mask March. If you guys didn't understand their Me and Mask March, that if you post these events, they're going to shut you down. They don't want it out there. Just like the info about them.
Yeah, what you can do is you can set up your own, buy your own domain for like $2. Make sure it's a trustworthy one that's not going to sell you out. Set it up. Send a link to your social media profiles, anything but Facebook, and you can have them redirect to your event from somewhere that's not owned by anybody except for yourself.
Well, I mean, that's what makes the every Saturday thing, you know, so beautiful. You don't need an event. It's every Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, start finding other people in yellow vests and all of that, you know, right before you go. Say, look, here's where we're meeting, or this is what we're doing. But, you know, as the weeks go on, that starts becoming, look, every Saturday we're out. You can type in your town in yellow vests, and we'll put in, you know, where it's meeting. But you don't really have to organize in the same way, because it's every Saturday, everywhere. At least that's the plan. That's where we're trying to go with it.
Yeah.
You guys seen much of this hypersonic arms race?
Oh, yeah, to see.
No.
So Russia came out with a new hypersonic nuclear missile.
I heard about that a few weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even 100% sure what that means. It's a really fast nuclear missile. They say it can get through everybody's missile defense systems. You know, it's like, okay, we can now destroy the world 102 times. Bask in our glory. It's just kind of like, okay, nice, good on you, 102. I'm gonna be just as impressed by 103. Let me guess, you can do it from space with lasers? With lasers? Wow.
They added a successful launch from one side of Russia to the other side. I think it was from east to west.
Yeah, I mean, it's another nuclear weapon. We can destroy the world with the ones that we had from the 60s.
Yeah, I'd be kind of scared, I'd be kind of like I've talked several times about those how they haven't upgraded some of the systems. Actually, a lot of the systems in those old Cold War era ones, and they're still using floppy disks and Commodores to use those things, and I'm like,
well, I mean, eventually you do run into the problem in that. Look, we don't care. When it comes to nuclear war and mutual assured destruction, it doesn't matter if 25% of them don't work. Right? Yeah. When you're talking about destroying the entire world with nuclear bombs, whether they're slow, whether they're fast, we've got ones that, that will launch, late after the world's already destroyed. If America's already been destroyed, then there's a nuclear missile on their way. Well, that's kind of fucking pointless, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's retarded.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's the same line where, I mean, like, okay, cool. But you do get to a certain point, it's like you can only blow up the world so many times, and saying that, well, we've got a brand new way to blow up the world. Cool. I'm super impressed, Russia. Super impressed. You can do the one thing that we already know how to do. Fast. You can do it really fast.
What do they call this one? The Planet Destroyer?
Well, I'm sure it's Russia #1. It's the supersonic. I don't know. Like, even I'm sure they named it something cool.
Planet Destroyer 5000.
Yeah, they don't ever call them what they really are. Expensive.
Hold on, I'll find its name for you. I was sitting here reading it.
The Sukhoi something or another, I'm sure.
The Avant-Garde system.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yes, the Avant-Garde system, as it's called, will deploy to Russia's armed forces in 2019.
Yeah, that'll show those pesky Americans.
Yeah, well, we've got them designed to deliver conventional warheads, not nukes. We're running third with that, Russia and China.
Didn't Trump say that he was going to build more nukes? Like he said,
he wants to rebuild our nuclear arsenal, and then we've got these new toys that are like short range, like fast deploy nuclear weapons.
You mean like tactical nukes, right?
Yeah, and well, I mean they're not they're bigger than TAC nukes, right? But they're these systems that we're hoping to sell to really every country on the planet. So, I mean, Russia almost had to do this to make that arms race continue. Because, ain't nobody talking about nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, guys, you need to be extremely scared here. And when you're scared, you know what we do. We give more money to the military-industrial complex. Say it after me. Right? So, Russia's got these. Look, we are going to... I'm going to be honest with you. All right, it's going to cost a few $1 trillion, if not more. I'm not sure what we're going to have to build, right? But we're going to need all of that money. Did you not? Russians, nukes, right? Those are scary words.
I'm not. I was like, wait, what?
we're using all the scary words. Sonic, nuclear Russians. Are you not listening?
Yeah.
It's like Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
So what's up with the Russian Prague meetings that were going on with the Cohen show?
So yeah,
Was that Michael Cohen shit?
yes,
that we're on,
Cohen's phone was bounced off of a relay tower off a cell tower in Prague in 2016 when they met with the Russians. So he was definitely.
You guys never heard of a burner phone?
Yeah, he was definitely there in Prague meeting. Well, Prague, yeah, but Prague isn't in Russia, so they did.
It's not outside, is it?
Yeah, but they did meet. They did meet with Russians in Prague. Cohen was there. And Trump is denying that the whole Russia thing is a bunch of bullshit. But we already have a reality winner. She's been in jail. She for trying to blow the lid off this story. In 2016.
She's still in jail. By the way,
she's still in jail. Yeah,
a political prisoner for exposing what will probably get Trump taken down. I know that today the majority, the Republican whip came out and said they're not going to be passing any more legislation until after the new year, that they're not going to be arguing about it, that they're in talks with Mike Pence right now about, the future and all of that stuff. That's all kind of signaling that they're moving power around.
Yeah.
Along with a wall. Yeah.
Yeah. Trump will definitely not finish out his presidency. I'll tell you that. I don't think so.
Yeah, I
He'll
mean, I
lead the
think
hard way.
Yeah, I think it's looking unlikely, and I know there's a lot of people.
His approval rating is down. His approval rating is down to 39%. I don't think anybody's had that low of a rating ever.
Yeah, there's been, Carter was hated at his time. Lincoln was definitely, the half the country fucking hated him. So, yeah,
But that's half. That's half the country. But he's like way less than half. He's like, at one point I saw it was like 36, but I think they padded those numbers, but it was at 39.
Well, I mean, because he's not really for, the people that were supporting him, right? He's not really on their side, even the racism thing, right? He isn't even, really involved with that culture. I know he posted earlier today, build the wall like they did in Israel. Do you know who your followers are? You just shut
I've seen a bunch of trolls.
Yeah, I was
gonna say the wall in Israel isn't going on very well. So much so that, that one.
The genocide.
Yeah, that one's not going well either. But I'm just pointing out that a wall doesn't stop anybody from doing anything.
Well, that was his. That was his. Just like the one in Israel, that was his post.
Oh yeah. He doesn't know what he's saying ever.
The amount of real deal anti-Semitism in his base.
Yep.
Right? You don't even know. You think that if you play like driver in a truck, that somehow that makes you real.
I don't know. I sometimes did you ever hear from the last who's not the guy who's the secretary of a staff or whatever, his go-to guy,
Mattis?
No, I forget who it is, but he said after he got fired, he told everybody that Trump doesn't read his reports. And then he told the guy that then Trump said that the guy was lazy. But I actually believe that Trump doesn't read anything. I really don't. He's really that dumb. He thought that the whole country of Ireland was still part of the crown. He didn't know that there were two Irelands. He didn't know there was a Northern Ireland and a Southern Ireland. He's fucking stupid.
On the same note, George Bush didn't even own a computer.
I believe that.
So, these are, that doesn't, in the same, what, I'm not sure, how much, I don't know if I would read those reports either. You know, like I would like him to read the reports. I would think as a leader of the President of the United States, you should probably be taking in all of that information. But if the FBI or the CIA hands me a report, like, I know you're bullshitting.
Yeah. You got me there.
Since the government's still shut down here.
Yeah.
Well, and it's DHS that's shut down, and I know the Democrats are trying to like push this, poor government workers. No, it's DHS. I'm happy with DHS shutting down. Get a real job. Your only job is to oppress American people. Fuck off. Close the doors. Fucking, that's ICE as well. Like, good. Great.
It's not like Congress really does anything worthwhile either.
Well, I mean, it's the same as if you have, a car problem. So if I turn on my truck and the check engine light turns on and it's overheating, I got to turn my car off and find out exactly what's the matter with it, right? Why it's broken. Yeah. If I turn on my car and it puts millions of people in prison, murders another million people, invades a country for profit, I think I'm going to also have to turn it off until I figure out what's the matter with it.
Yeah.
So in the parts that they shut down, I am really happy with DHS being shut down. Look, we have the NSA, the CIA, like we've got a long list of alphabet soup agencies. Border Patrol isn't connected to DHS, so that's good. I wasn't happy with DHS to begin with. Fuck off. I'm not gonna cry, oh well, the NSA can't get funding. Good.
Oh well.
Yeah, you cry me a fucking river.
Wah, wah, wah. No.
and these aren't like, a lot of these, it's DHS. Like, you just got here. You haven't even been around for 15 years. They make it sound like it's some poor post office worker that's been busting his ass for 30 years.
No, these are low level. These are low level federal employees that were like security guards before they got hired.
This is the American SS, and you want me to fucking feel bad about it getting shut down? Oh, but what about all those poor SS officers? They're going to be out without a job.
Who cares?
I'm sorry. Bummer. But even the Democrats, they were the ones that were pushing the abolish ICE and all of this stuff. But it's the Democrats that are now like, oh, the workers, look at how Trump's punishing them, blah, 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 blah. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the wall. I mean, like, fuck him if he wants a fucking wall. Like, it's never going to be built anyway. So.
He spelled fence wrong, huh?
Yeah. Did he do? I think he did do that in a tweet, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and he posted this like picture that was like, oh, this is what the possibility of the new wall looking, and it literally looked like a elementary school kid did it in paint.
You know what I really wonder is if Trump ever had one of those like crazy nights where like, you go to like one of those border cities, you come on guys, we're gonna have fun, we're gonna go to Mexico. I don't think he's ever done anything like that. Mexico's pretty cool.
Well, he doesn't drink.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so I mean, that's part of it. I think a lot of it.
He always looks like he's like spun out on Adderall.
Even if you don't, here's the deal. The money is being made right now with the same people, even if we don't build the wall. So all of these prototypes, right, those prototypes are costing us $1 billion a pop. Right, and I guarantee you when you go back and look at it, oh, well, since you said you were going to build the wall and now you're not going to build the wall, these corporations will come and say, oh, well, you still owe us that money.
Yeah.
Like, we'll end up paying for it and not getting the wall at the same time. That's how this corruption works. Or they'll come out and be like, okay, we're going to compromise, right? $1 billion for the wall. $1 billion for the wall, and you cannot fix Flint's water. Your compromise is $1 billion. Oh, we don't even care. It's just $1 billion. It's compromise.
There's also parts where like you can't build a wall because the Rio Grande goes like literally through the border, and some of it's private land too. It's not like It's not like you can tell people who own the land to live on the border.
Yes, you can.
Well, I mean, you can.
They've already started. No, they have.
Eminent
They've already
domain.
started going onto people's property and cutting wood and clearing off. Even though they don't have the contracts, they don't have the paperwork.
But there's also a bunch of natives who own yeah. Yeah,
yeah, man, come out, treaty in hand. I'm sure they will respect that the same way they've respected every other treaty
like North Dakota, yeah.
Yeah, no. I completely look. I'm indigenous. I am in this battle 100%. Right? If you show me one more goddamn fucking treaty, I swear to God, I'm shoving it up your ass. Right? Those treaties are the worstless pieces of shit. You think the government gives a fuck about a piece of paper?
Well, they didn't.
This is my land. Yeah, right. They will call the fucking the Army Corps of Engineers on your punk ass in a heartbeat. Like I said, right now on the border, what we were just talking about, they are cutting lands, taking people's land for this wall, and there ain't shit they can do about it. They will shoot you.
That's ridiculous.
America.
Whoa, did you guys hear that?
Well, I heard somebody yawning.
Oh, I got like a weird mic ping. That was weird.
That's me. I'm being monitored.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, maybe we mentioned those pesky water protectors. I love just on the way by about the border wall and all of that stuff. So the guy from the Bundy Ranch, right? Like, pretty much quit some of the organizations that he was with and kind of stood with, against their current immigration policy and all of that. I thought that was really cool. Was it Clem? Was it our boy Clem? I like Clem. Oh boy, looks like he got hit in the face with a shovel. He's my favorite. And he's got, like, not only, like, he is a red-blooded fucking American all the way because, like, he's Second Amendment and fucking America. He's got, like, 4 wives. Like, he reminds me of that miner, right? That when I laid down my life for this country, polygamy.
What?
He's got 4 wives, 2 husbands.
Dude, power plant just exploded in New York.
Okay.
That is great. Not really, but I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm reading this.
Do we have a reason?
Wait, it says power plant incident bathes New York City on bright blue light. So there's an explosion at a power plant.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm looking at Queens right now.
And it's cold out.
I was looking at Queens. I'm looking at this video too.
I'm fucking looking at this shit, man. Sure.
That's a pretty. It looks like daylight. It looks like daylight, and it's like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
No New Year's Eve ball dropping for you guys.
To be honest, fuck, that looks like that new hypersonic nuke to me.
Yeah, holy shit.
Anybody in New York, do not look directly into the bright blue light.
If you can fit it behind your thumb, you're good.
Yeah. That does not, who knows, guys? Who the fuck knows?
Dude, that's gotta be one intense explosion to make it look like daylight at night.
Yeah, wait, that black, I don't know, I've seen quite a few explosions in my time. That looks super weird. A single color explosion?
Well, yeah, usually when you get, like, I've seen it before, like, I'm not saying, like, I used to do drugs, but I did, and I would end up on people's roofs doing at weird hours. But I'm saying that I've seen a transformer explode.
Well, I mean, is that the official government? Is that the official government story?
That's a ball of gas.
Yeah, powered. Yeah, what is it? Swamp gas? Was it maybe some swamp gas?
Swamp gas, yeah.
Trump.
Yeah, that pesky swamp gas. So yeah, that looks interesting. Do we have, like, a reason for the power plant explosion?
This is about, let me see, the last update. Yeah, this happened about an hour ago.
Kind of looks like lightning.
This happened about an hour ago, so we're not sure. All right.
You know what?
NYPD put up something. Hold on. Yeah, Con Ed's from a facility in Queens. It said the fire is under control.
Yeah, sure. Not extinguished, but under control. You know what doesn't explode in giant fireballs? Wind and solar.
Yeah.
Here you go. I got a great photo.
So what did they say? So there's been this explosion and all of that. I think I'm looking at a couple of, like, I don't know if these are the thing. What's the air quality like?
It's got to be toxic by now.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to breathe any of that shit in. Whatever causes the sky to light up in a weird blue haze is probably not good for you.
No, and that explosion, you can see it looks at least the size of a city block. Maybe even bigger.
Nothing to see here.
What else?
I bet you can see that in Jersey.
Oh yeah, so I was gonna put this out there. So Turkey suspended 2 channels over what they supposedly call insulting President Erdogan. I say his name right.
Gotta love that state-run
media. I can
media.
never say his name right. Yeah, but first he because we had the trade embargo, or we didn't give them their we didn't give them those fighter jets because of they didn't give us back.
Oh, that priest, right?
Yeah, and then so we had that trade embargo with them, and like we said, and then they said. Then they encourage people to destroy the Apple iPhones, and I'll get to that. I'll kind of get to how that story kind of revolves around something later on in the show, and he encouraged people to destroy any American products. People were destroying iPhones and pouring Coke down the fucking. Pouring Coke, not cocaine, Coca-Cola. They're pouring it down the.
Nobody pours cocaine down the drain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're pouring Coke.
And those little kids in Thailand worked hard to make them iPhones.
Yeah, they did. And
Damn, what did I jump into?
Oh
my god.
So Turkey shut down two TV channels for insulting the president of Turkey.
Ugh.
What was his name? Erdogan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is state-run media. I mean, we can name off the countries that'll shut you down if you talk too much shit. We get shut down. I mean, is that any difference than the censorship that we deal with every day?
Not really.
The government shuts down our sites if we tell you the code that Facebook uses to buy and sell your information, right? That your government uses to spy on you. Shit, they'll put us in prison, right? We were just talking about Reality Winner. They'll put you in prison if you expose their own corruption.
Yeah.
And looking for it, too. They were looking for that Russian interference. Oh, we didn't find any. Oh, no, here it is. Oh, put her in jail. Fuck.
Oh, you ever notice that? You know, police departments do that, too. Oh, we can't find the video. Oh, no, don't worry. I got a copy. I got one. I got you.
Yeah, lock his ass up. Yeah, he wasn't supposed to show that.
There was just no video of the gas of the chemical weapons attack in Syria. Oh no, don't worry, brother, I got you. We got some video here. Woo! I bet you're relieved. Otherwise, you may have been able to spin that as a false flag and try to get us to continue in an endless war. Really saved you some trouble there. Yeah, I love the stuff that they can't find records and statistics and video of.
Oh, Khashoggi.
Or like planes smacking into buildings that are the most monitored buildings on the planet. You have no video of a plane hitting the Pentagon. The Pentagon. You guys don't have cameras in the Pentagon?
Yeah, they stole it. Yeah, remember the Hilton that was across? That was like was it Hilton or a Marriott? That's like a couple blocks away. They
you don't have a satellite feed monitoring the Pentagon 24/7 in high def. You know that one that you show us zooming in and reading packs of cigarettes? That's not looking at the Pentagon. What am I spending my fucking like? They want us to believe these complete like farce, you know? Like, come on. Sure. We have no idea where that $1 trillion went. You sure you don't?
Why did Tower 7
Maybe check
fall?
maybe check your bank accounts. Maybe check. Oh, hey, check those accounts in the Cayman Islands. There's always money down there. Trust me. Hey, watch, if you walk up to a politician right now, one of the ones that's got like huge amounts of money, ask him right now and be like, hey, what kind of money's in the Cayman Islands? And he'll act like he has no idea, completely shocked. What? There's money in the Cayman Islands? Yeah. You're millions of dollars, the ones you got there. Tell us about those. Oh, I'm shocked. Really? Billionaires are hiding their money in the islands? No. We'll have to check into this.
Oh, we're losing.
Better than under the mattress.
Like, did we piss somebody off?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, that's
Maybe.
crazy. Oh, well.
No, they just shut us off in that entire country.
Oh, well.
That's about enough of that.
Yeah. That's what you get for talking about the truth, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so talk about censorship in Turkey being, the same as censorship anywhere else.
I do kind of want to tie this around. So I believe that the telecom companies deliberately tried to shut down phones with iPhones in Turkey, right? So this last update, I don't exactly know the fine details on how they tried to do that, but Apple did put a patch on update for iOS 12.1.2 to fix iPhones in Turkey because there was some shady bullshit that they were trying to do to try and but anyway, Apple ended up with their last update bricking like I don't know how much it is, but I'm even dealing with the same issue. Like nothing fucking works on their fucking phone anymore because of them trying to fix their own fucking mistake.
And that used to be like the reason for buying Apple products, right?
Because it fucking works.
Reliable and they worked.
The problems that I'm dealing with and I'm reading as far back as September haven't been fixed with the new iPhone X's. So
well, I mean, to be honest, like there'll be another one next year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of doing the Microsoft thing, right? Just come out with a new version every year. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, I got a new iPhone, and I'm about so fucking fed up with it. I'm thinking about live streaming me getting a sledgehammer and breaking it.
Oh, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch the shit out of that.
They need to just fire everyone at Apple and then just make Steve Wozniak the only technician there.
Yeah, I mean, it literally I getting it's having conflict resolution. It's having my phone is literally having Wi-Fi problems because it literally has to do with IP version 4 versus IP version 6, and when I turn on IP version 6 on the back end of my router, my phone doesn't know what to do. It just literally all the packets drop out. Apps will open for no fucking reason.
The list goes on.
Yeah,
and on.
It does some strange shit, and I'm not the only one who's dealing with this. It was almost like, why did I pay $700 for this?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah, and I got ripped off too because I bought it at the mobile provider. It was $300 more than if I would have bought it at the Apple store.
Well, and I think they built them for something like $30 or $40 a piece. So
something
yeah,
like
you got ripped off.
Something like that.
You got ripped off.
I definitely did.
I don't really I don't do phones. So if I have to, if I have something that I know I have phone calls for, coming up or something, I buy a burner and use it for that little bit of time. And then
I got burners, but I do I don't know for my main one, but I'm not happy with this at all. I'm pretty sure a lot of people on the holiday season that got iPhones are not happy either.
Yeah, they'll have a new one soon enough.
Speaking of telecom companies, this is a trend that I've been seeing going on internationally. First story I came across was with Australia. So, internationally, Chinese telecom companies have been trying to help start a 5G, build the infrastructure for 5G networks. Companies like Huawei, ZTE,
Foxconn.
Is that a Chinese?
I think they're Korean, but same problem. And I think another with like they also build some parts, the screens for the iPhones.
Possibly,
so they got a contract from Scott Walker here in Wisconsin for billions to build a Foxconn facility here, and they took the money, and now they're just going to build them in India.
Yeah, no,
so we pretty much paid for them to build the new facility in India.
Yeah, in Australia banned Chinese telecom companies from building their 5G network personally because they don't trust the Chinese, and the same thing might go on here in the United States, and it's kind of revolving around the Huawei CFO and the dispute that we're having with the trade dispute that we're having with China. But now I'm hearing that Trump might put in an executive order to ban altogether Chinese telecom companies from building any infrastructure in the United States.
Oh, I'm sure they're really trying to keep from any infrastructure being built in the United States, period.
Does Trump realize that the Chinese literally have Wall Street by the balls, and if they pull out, you'll see it crash?
Yeah, I don't. That's not his like name to fame. That's not where he makes his money. So yeah, I would bet that he knows about as much about international finance and production as he does about everything else.
Which is nothing.
Yeah, I mean, his name to fame is being a rich douche. That's it.
Well, yeah, I mean, if the Chinese wanted to, the Chinese could tank the stock market if they wanted to, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, they're of course. I mean, any huge. I mean, they are a superpower. Economically, they are the biggest. Economic superpower there is on the planet. So it's. Of course they could. There's plenty of money to be made. Trump's not the right guy to do it, but there's all sorts of stuff we're getting fucked over on. It's not like, okay, we don't want the Chinese companies to put in a 5G system, but we're going to put in high-speed internet throughout the U.S. That's not what they're doing either. And I know that the reason that Australia and New Zealand won't go with it is because Telstra has a monopoly over there. Nobody's going to muscle in on that.
Oh, Telstra. Yeah, I was going to say, where have I heard that before? I think it's Australia, right?
Yeah, well, Australia, New Zealand, the big telecom over there is Telstra, but they're the only one. So there's no way that a Chinese, and I mean, that's like I said, they're the only one. So there's no way a Chinese company was going to be able to influence the governments there to put up any system.
Yeah.
I did read China owns like almost all the antennas of the telecom providers.
Oh, and a huge amount of our debt. Like that's where they got us by the balls. Is just they own a whole bunch of our debt. But on the same note, by pulling those strings, I mean, we could do the same thing and be like, all right, well, fuck it.
It's true, and China is like the most resource-dependent country too. So that's like their weakness. They're like addicted to resources. I mean, they can't. They got like 500 million cars riding around there. So,
yeah.
I mean, wow. Yeah,
it's not all electric.
Pollution.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, I don't know. I think they might be super surprised. America isn't real big on paying its debts.
No.
Yeah, if you get an IOU from the American government,
Yeah, so I mean, and that's what
it'll
they're
never
like.
be
Oh
paid
well,
off.
we've got all of these IOUs from America. Yeah, you do.
You'll see one at tax time too.
Yeah, if they don't want to pay it back, then these Chinese just have a big problem for sure.
Well, they got a whole bunch of bonds, but I mean, it's not like, you know, the underlying truth is America isn't going to shrivel up and die because of the, you know what I mean? Farmers are still going to produce foods, plumbers are still going to put in pipes. Like it's so fake in how the whole system works.
Yeah, that's the thing many people don't really get into, and that is there's a big difference between the financial world and the real economy, right? I mean, everyone still needs food, everyone the farms still produce it, so that will all still exist. Whatever currency you use, whatever the banks do, the people still need food, so there's always an economy.
Well, I mean, look at like places like Belgium that didn't even notice. You know what I mean? Like their government, you know, pretty much dissolved there for a little bit, and life just continued on, right? The fire department still ran, like it wasn't.
Yeah, because
the
you
end of the
already
world
have.
that they made it sound like.
Yeah, you have existing laws, and you have the local governments still have all their people working for them. I mean, you still have the garbage collectors doing their stuff, and you don't really need the central government to actually run that. So Belgium just survived that. Yeah, I mean, they're just they're like 100 miles from here over the border, so and they were all doing fine.
Yeah, when I was there, like they were
fun.
kind of in the middle of it, and yeah, you couldn't really tell, and that kind of gets into what we were talking about earlier with like Department of Homeland Security being closed down. You know, when you start closing down pretty corrupt organizations, even if they're government organizations, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's good. We probably shouldn't be having those. And it seemed like that same thing was going, you know, is going on. Oh, but what do you do if your corrupt government falls?
I don't care.
Know, make one that isn't corrupt. Does that, like, I would think that it almost has to.
Yeah.
Shit,
if they're like
inactive
now. If they're like inactive, like in Belgium, then you suddenly notice how little they actually do. These guys to actually like work on the economy. Then you realize it all functions without them.
Yeah, do like an Office Space. What exactly do you do here?
Yeah.
Well, if you're a firefighter, you're gonna do that regardless if you're getting paid or not. It's like a civic duty.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of fire departments are paid for locally, not federally. Like we've kind of learned that the hard way.
Yeah, a lot of volunteer firefighters out here too.
Yeah, we have that too. Like, pretty much every small town has like a volunteer fighter force in here. Like the big city, you got like professionals.
Yeah, that's what you call fellowship and communion, I guess. Community fellowship. Yeah, you don't have to really get paid to help people. Just do it.
Oh, did you guys hear about this? Oh shit! What happened to my?
Yeah, I'm starting to get some real, like, they do this every time. It's not
it was
like
weird.
there's a...
It was weird. Like my screen, I installed like some new hardware into my laptop, but I didn't. All right, maybe that's hardware glitch. I'll monitor that. No, there was a story that was out, I think a week ago. I kind of didn't cover it last time. Remember that kid that was released from North Korea? They died of botulism.
No.
Jesus, no, I did not.
Yeah, he was.
I never met him.
Yeah, they released the North Koreans released him, and then he died like a day after he was released. Or they released
of botulism. So what? He got some kimchi that was stored wrong. Or
I don't know. I remember he was an American citizen. He was staying in a hotel. he thought it would be cool to like steal a sign, and they put him in prison, and he was in prison for like a good 5 years, and ended up dying.
Oh, okay.
And so
they give him some romaine lettuce.
So a judge,
Yeah.
a judge in somewhere in the United States determined that North Korea was responsible financially for his death, and wants North Korea to pay $500 million.
Woo!
Is this the kid from Ohio?
Well, he had a really weird name. It started with a W or something.
Otto Warmbier?
Yeah, so I think that's it. Yeah.
It's a Dutch name.
Yeah, he.
So, I mean, do they know where the botulism came from, or what the?
I don't know. He died of an illness that could easily be fixed with medicine. So.
Well, I mean, botulism is super specific, and like how you get it, and like if you get sick with botulism, it's 24 hours, 48 hours. You have families that'll like open up a jar of preserves or something in the winter. It has no taste, no flavor, no smell. You eat some jelly or something, and yeah, you find the family's all dead in the morning, just like that.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, we do a lot of home canning up here, so like botulism is always a real fear.
But yeah, I just
so
don't.
Botulism food poisoning, right?
What I don't understand is how do they expect the North Koreans to pay that money? They'd just be like, "Well, fuck you. I'm not paying it." Uh-oh, did I lose everybody?
No, I'm still here.
Did I lose Terrence?
I think so. Micro is also muted. Yeah, well, if they don't have the money, they can't pay it. So yeah, it's simple. We don't have it. Like
Terrence.
Yeah, he'll be back soon.
That was weird.
But there's always something happening to his connection. I don't know. It's like
like I was looking at my screen, and then all of my programs exited out. I don't have.
Why do they always drop? But I
don't have Wireshark running, but I'm very suspicious.
And how come it is always me remaining?
I'm still here. Yeah, I don't think you guys wanted no part in what I was doing. Terrence may have lost signal. He said he was had to run his heat a certain way right now.
Okay, well, I don't know. What did you guys cover already, and what should we still cover? It sounds like a huge list of topics again.
So I do want to talk about the Morocco incident. So if you guys aren't familiar with what happened in Morocco, a Danish and Norwegian student. We're doing some stuff in Morocco, and a bunch of guys chopped them up on video and recorded it, beheaded them, and as they were doing it, they were mentioning this is for Hajin, which is in Syria, which was an ISIS stronghold. Well, it wasn't a stronghold, but it was controlled by ISIS, and hours after the beheading, they pledged allegiance to ISIS in a video. And I was saying before, and the authorities in Morocco are saying that there are probably over 1,000 members of ISIS or people that are that are pledged allegiance to ISIS in Morocco. But what I'm saying is that when Trump said that we defeated ISIS, they're still around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
I saw the video.
It's not getting smaller.
I saw the no, it's not. And I saw the video. I don't. Some people are saying it's fake. I saw both videos. It's definitely real. Like, there was definitely a death. Somebody was definitely killed. And these people were saying what the interpreter said that they were saying.
I don't know. I've seen quite a few of their videos. Hard to say if any of that's fake or not.
Oh, like Jihadi John?
Some stuff.
Yeah.
Some stuff is fake.
Them
That's it's just for propaganda purposes, but this seems to be real. And I mean, there's two girls, 24 and 19, from Norway and Denmark.
Was it a home invasion?
Well, no. What they were doing is they were camping, and these guys came over there and killed them. And as they were chopping them up, they said this was for Hajin, which is in Syria.
They were stalking them for days. I'm reading.
Yeah, they also
they
were also saying this is when they were chopping her head off, and you hear her dying. He said this is the will of Allah.
Yeah, the Australian news does say that they were like lone wolves and they were not actually coordinated with Islamic State. Probably they like pledged allegiance by themselves to this, but makes it probably even more disturbing, by the way. To have like other groups pledging allegiance to that now, like, but who knows? Maybe they were. So they got 4 main suspects.
Well, the thing that makes me not think that they were lone wolves because they knew about Hajin, and somebody from ISIS probably referred them to do these killings over what happened in Syria. That's what makes me think it's not a lone wolf.
No, and it's obviously done around Christmas for propaganda reasons too.
Yeah.
So it's just a very smart.
Or no, Jihadi John fled to Africa as well.
I think Sudan or somewhere around there, or Ethiopia. They can't. A lot of them can't return to their countries because they know they'll get arrested.
Yeah, Jihadi John, and that reason there were many people from the UK actually coming over there. A lot of supporters of, well, not directly of IS, but just at first fighting with like Syrian resistance and stuff. Mostly against America, by the way, just against the West interfering. I think later on, most of them were like recruited by ISIS.
Yeah, I've also heard of people all over Europe joining the YPG. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, there is some justification for like so many of these people actually believe like that's like just the West always interfering with these countries. So usually they join like a legitimate resistance against that, but usually these legitimate resistance groups get like all hijacked by ISIS or destroyed by the West, and what remains is like this big group ISIS that is the worst of the worst. So yeah, but there are some legitimate groups too. I mean, initially when they go there, they're not there to behead innocent people. I mean, yeah, and you enter this these extremist theories already very soon. I mean, they will tell you about the West, and then they will tell you about all these elite running the world, and then they will tell you, of course, they're all coming from Israel and America. So yeah, then it starts.
Well, yeah, and now Hezbollah is in Syria as well. So
everybody's in Syria.
Yeah,
Syria's the place to be.
Well, I know, there is the holy city, from the Quran about Damascus, and it's not too far from Tel Megiddo.
We're not to the end of the show. We got to save our.
Okay.
Save our for the end
all
of
right.
Let's not be cut off already. Terrence, what happened, Terrence, with your connection?
I just got fucking cut off like normal. Like they lower my connection rate so much that I can't. There's like a box, and you can see the when they park the truck there, and they lower my fucking connection rate so much I can't connect.
Man, maybe I should mail you one of my. I don't have a cellular. Yeah, you need a cellular jammer or something.
Yeah.
I don't have one of those, but I got a Wi-Fi jammer.
Well, no, I need to just go to go with somebody and get a burner in their name that's like not really connected to me like that, and then just use it as a hotspot when we're live streaming.
Yeah.
And literally just that's the only time that we turn it on. VPN.
But yeah, you know, Morocco was, you know, is generally, you know, a safe place to go. So to hear that they were, you know, were over there and you know, beheading people was kind of weird.
Yeah, it is.
Well, and it's going to get a lot of attention. So, I mean, anytime ISIS farts here, right, the warmongers are going to take full advantage of it. Fear, 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 right? So right now, they're really trying to figure out a way to talk the world and the American people into reasons why we need to stay in the Middle East. And the only reason we have right now is ISIS, right? Americans aren't afraid of Iran. That really hasn't worked out. So we really got to push this ISIS thing. Or, you know, once we leave Iraq and you see that, look, it isn't, you know, it's not, it doesn't turn into a wasteland, right? Or leave Syria, that it doesn't turn into a wasteland, people are going to start saying, okay, well, let's leave Iraq, let's leave Northern Africa. Like, you know, people are going to start wanting to leave these places. So look for an uptick, not just in ISIS attacks, but in the coverage of an ISIS attack.
Yeah, but like Morocco, yeah, it used to be like just like a basic tourist.
Yeah, it's a tourist. Mostly tourists go there.
Oh yeah, tons of Europeans go to Morocco. I mean, like.
Yeah, like just like Egypt was too. Like all the tourists just want to go there. I mean, I've been there long ago, and it pretty much Morocco usually like consists of just yeah, everything is based on tourism, and you just when you come over there, you just meet like some guy who wants to make like a picture with you. He has like a monkey, and then when you agree, you have to like pay him a few bucks.
Yeah,
that's just how it was, and that they're very friendly people always. So I don't get it either, but yeah. I don't know. Egypt too, by the way. It used to be like just a tourist spot. I mean, never any trouble there. It's all changing now.
Yeah. Let me see. Brett McGurk resigned over us pulling out of Syria.
Well, yeah, and I think we were talking about before, like a lot of these guys, it's not that they resigned because we were pulling out of Syria. They were already resigning, right? Mattis was going to resign in February anyway. So a lot of these guys, like seeing that the Trump administration's sinking, seeing that we're pulling out of these, they're leaving the administration to immediately go over to the military-industrial complex. You're a good boy. You said we need to stay at war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, the war in Syria and Iraq and Afghanistan is just as wrong this week as it was last week.
Yeah.
Hey, what was that story about Trump saying he wanted to like pull out of Iraq?
Well, I mean, he is. I think we've got 2,000 troops in Syria. The neo-libs immediately came out with, I don't know, their new pro-war stance. Right? Oh, you can't leave a power vacuum. Like Assad disappeared. I don't know. Like there isn't a power vacuum because the government stayed stable despite your like best attempts to destabilize.
Assad is a criminal. You know that.
They're all criminals.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all. It doesn't matter if you have Assad, the criminal in power, or you have some Western puppet in control there. Either way, you're fucked. If you're living there, you're fucked. So. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How dare your local criminals be beating you up? That's our job.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
You know, and it's well, we need to stay in Syria. Okay, what are you going to do in Syria? Because if it's just continue to bomb more innocent people, then fuck off.
Yeah.
I love how they make it sound like, look, you've been in the Middle East for 15 years. Then they make it sound like, oh, we just needed 2 more weeks. We had a big operation coming up in 2 weeks. Well, then you should have done it 15 years ago.
What I thought was interesting was that Trump, so Trump said he was going to move them out of there, and we're no longer going to police the world, and he was like actually retweeting a Rand Paul tweet.
Yeah, he was. He didn't. He was. Those were not. many men have said those words before. You know.
Oh, that we're not supposed to police the world.
Yeah.
That was Ron Paul's big.
Yeah, I mean, Trump's thing is not that we shouldn't be like murdering people all over the world. He just want to make sure that we're not giving it away, right? He wants to make sure that you're buying it from the military.
Yeah, that's what he wants. He wants international players to flip the bill for it.
Yeah, and I don't see America's job into being the world's mercenaries, right? He's saying that we don't want to be the world's police. He wants us to be the world's mercenaries.
There you go.
You know, you're selling weapons. You know, he just wants them to pay for it.
Yeah.
Did we lose him?
Not sure. Yeah, he dropped out again.
He's being rate limited.
Oh my god!
There is stuff happening there. For sure, because his connection was perfect and suddenly he drops.
I see him, I think. Well, we'll get him when we can get him. He's still...
Whatever three-letter agency is listening today, you can just listen, and if you let us talk, then you learn more. So...
He says, what the fuck? Well, let me see. So Israel attacked Hezbollah targets in
I listened.
In Syria. Israel was getting kind of worried that that U.S. pulled out of Syria, and I did see some anti-Semitic shit going on because Israel did attack a Hezbollah target, and
well, I mean, you're always gonna. I know, Chuck. I'm gonna get cut back off here, guys. I know. It's pretty much. I hit my truth limit for the week. But look, you're gonna see some of it is legitimate anti-Semitic, sentiment, right? That exists in this world.
Yeah.
Some of it is when these things happen or when they start.
Well,
to look bad,
I heard
people will start posting anti-Semitic shit on there, but they're actually like people that are working for the government doing it. To get support, they will post, really some really terrible anti-Semitic stuff. But they are really working for the same people. Right? It's not legitimate. It's not legitimately coming from racist. It's coming from people that just want support for war.
That's a good point. Yeah, they will amplify that to make it look like there's so massive anti-Semitism. So there must be someone stepping in because the world is fucked, and I have to.
Yeah. I'm not. You're not. We can't actually talk about the genocide going in Gaza because this person's posted a nasty word about Jews, and now we've spent the entire post. Everything is about the anti-Semitism and not the genocides going on, and they will amplify it if not post it themselves. They found out that the people that were calling in destroying people's burial grounds and coming through and posting stuff and making these like anti-Jewish sentiments turned out to be Jewish people working for the government.
Definitely could be.
Yeah. I mean, what I don't get is that always like if an Israeli government does something, then there's always going to be like an anti-Semitic response to it. I really don't get it because it's not like this government represents them, the Jewish people, any more than our governments represent us. I mean,
no. And here's the funny thing that happened a couple of days ago. So my contact in Israel says that anytime Netanyahu gets threatened, there's automatically a war that happened. Well, that's kind of what happened this time. So somebody had threatened Netanyahu and against corruption for him, and they bombed the Hezbollah target. But the parliament in Israel wants to dissolve the government by having an early election in April. So they'll have to vote for a new prime minister.
Okay.
So Netanyahu's days might be numbered.
Yeah, I can't even remember all these others who went before him.
Yeah,
but,
he's been in power since 09, so around.
Yeah, it's been a while for sure. I mean, that's 10 years then now almost.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how that one plays out.
Well, they're all you have Merkel having problems, Macron.
I'm not even on top of that. John, you know more about that.
Oh, Al Macron, yeah, that is. His reign ended. He just doesn't realize it yet. I mean, it's the Saturday you got them on the street again and again, and like every week they're on the street, and their numbers are growing, and the police unions are joining them now, and yeah, I mean, there's no end to this, and I mean, even if he saves his little French government now, he will like always go into the history books as this guy who like sparked this yellow vest a winter in Europe and in America now too. I mean, he was the reason for this, and now they're like all over Europe and in Canada and the US too. So yeah. Whatever happens with that.
Found that video you guys were talking about, a Danish woman murdered in Morocco.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
Oh, you found the beheading, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
I found more for Brazil than this, but oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
Where do you find such videos? Are they like amplified by like big media and stuff too?
No, you don't. I didn't. I actually had to dig to find it. I had to go to DuckDuckGo, type in keywords, and then I saw from like some underground news website actually had it with a bunch of warnings all over the video. It was definitely that girl. I could see in the video getting her head chopped off.
Here you go, John. I'll post in the chat.
Okay.
It's been on BitChute a little bit. That's where I saw it. Best Gore hadn't picked it up yet, but if you go to like Crazy Shit or Best Gore, you usually pick up stuff like that, the cartel killings, things of that nature.
Yeah, that's what I use for the video searches. Is Crazy Shit. It has a nice web crawler. It goes to Best Gore. You name it, they go there everywhere.
Yeah, the reason why I asked is like we have to count red flags on these things, right? If the big media are pushing it, then there is something else at play. So,
well, the media, I've seen a couple of their stories. They're saying, well, she got like attacked and got knifed in the neck. You know, they're not even saying that she got her head cut off. You know?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a full article. Maureen Yulin, 28, from Norway, and her friend Louisa Vesterager of Gesterspan, 24, of Denmark, were found with their throats cut near a village of
their throats weren't cut, their heads were gone.
Yeah, they're cut. Yeah, well, they're not lying because the throats were cut. But
oh yeah,
it's already not going so well in Scandinavia for these people. There are actually people like going onto the streets to say like stop immigration and all these things. That is becoming like very big because there were some public events, like there were like Swedish and Denmarkish girls and stuff. They were like raped in public by these large group attacks, and there were like some scandals, and those communities are like becoming very aggressive against immigration and stuff now. So this stuff is really going to heat things up there.
That's like Cologne. They had 1,000 women raped, like the last couple of New Year's Eves. I mean, it's out of control. The cops don't do shit.
Yeah.
Oh, look, and here's an ISIS video. My Lord.
On the other hand, like there are a lot of rape cases in all over Europe, and it's not just like it's not immigrants doing like the majority of these rapes. So there is a goal behind that too. Again, and it has to do with like the division between people, and but it's difficult. And yeah, I don't really know what to say about it. Because it is true what you're saying, Preston. I mean,
yeah, you gotta watch who you're letting in your country. If they'll cut heads off in their country, they'll cut heads off in yours.
Yeah, there's known ratios for the Muslims and how they operate. You know, if it's around 1% of the population, no big deal. They're very complacent. They'll go along. They get around 3% or so, they start getting agitated, start getting mouthy. They get around 10% in your population, they want to take over. I mean, that's just all there is to it. You know, like you see in France. They just how they operate, man. I mean, but Charles Martel is the key to this problem. He had the solution in the 700s. He knew what to do.
Yeah, you know that his last name Martel is the Dutch word for torture.
Oh,
word.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Now that's good info. Thanks for that, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, Martel is like the word for torture. So. Yeah.
Wow. Martel louvers.
I don't know, Preston, if that's true about like these percentages. It could be. I mean, but you're talking about like conflicting cultural mindsets. I think it's not so much the religion, but it's maybe like cultures clashing or something.
Well,
what they're used to.
Yeah, Wahhabism is fairly new. You know, that's within the last 100 or 200 years. So.
Yeah, they're definitely radicalized, and we're not helping the situation by funding them. But no, it's. I mean, you don't see that just with them. I mean, there's other groups that do that as well. You know, there's a certain way they operate, man. That's the only way you can describe it. It is what it is. You know, you either protect yourself or you let them run you over. You know?
Yeah, like we have like very our societies in Europe are a little different than the USA too. I mean, we're like more like much more open in the sense that we don't really have like we're not like pushing like a very a national culture thing. Like the USA has this like I think it's a great way. Like you're always pushing like the America is great thing, and I don't want to confuse it with Trump, but like I mean, very proud of your like you have this very American culture, like very aspects everyone knows about American culture, like the entire Hollywood thing and all these things, and that is very strong and it's very hard to replace by other countries. I mean, you can't just have like if you move in like 50 million Brazilians or something, it's still going to be like this Hollywood style country. And I mean, with us it's kind of different. I mean, Europeans feel like they like lost their national culture. Yeah, national identity. Yeah, that's more it. Yeah, but it's not being done by Muslims, by the way. It's more has to do with the European Union too. I feel so. Yeah,
it's almost like they've given up on their culture, and the European Union sure doesn't give a shit about it. They're all about corporate control and bossing everybody around like a bunch of slaves.
Yeah, well, we have like as Americans, you probably know, like we are, as Amsterdam, we have like very cultural aspects. Like everyone knows, like the red light district and all this weed stuff and stuff. But that's like pretty much the end of it. Like,
you mean I thought that was like, that's all the Dutch were good for? No, it's fine.
No.
Yeah, you can go back to like a
windmills,
clumps or cheese or windmills, but then you pretty much you
Old
clumps here.
That prominent painter, was it Rembrandt? Wasn't he? He's Dutch, right?
Yeah. Rembrandt was that. Vincent van Gogh was Dutch.
Well, there was Kattegat too, you know, Ivar the Boneless. A lot of that they're starting to really dig into now.
Yeah, I mean, there were historically we had some great scientists and stuff, and I mean things like the microscope were invented here. And, yeah.
Well, you know, Europe, you know, with CERN, and I mean, you're actually doing more research than we are. I mean, we build weapons and the military-industrial complex. You guys are actually like doing the cutting-edge science now.
Yeah, but you also have to realize that America's maybe also like outsourcing this, and they're also co-funding it, of course. So yeah.
Of course, everybody here is on freaking heroin, GHB, you name it. If they're going to go work in a lab, they're going to try to smoke it or snort it.
Not that kind of lab, Micro, damn it. I mean,
that's what I'm saying, man.
Scientific, come on.
Oh, man.
Yeah, well, what I know is people in, like, everyone in Europe loves Americans, but everyone in Europe hates American governments. But everyone in Europe loves Americans. I mean, if you're from America, they always feel like these are great people. But I think most of the people actually do hate the American government. But on the other hand, they also hate their own government, so there's nothing special there.
Hey, I don't like our government either. I mean, let's be frank. I mean, it's like,
yeah, we're all no different than each other anyways.
It is what it is.
Just maybe say things different, do things a little different.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if you talk about like national identity, I mean, like we have like cinemas, and 90% of the movies in our cinemas are just Hollywood movies, right? We have like 1 in 10 movies is maybe a Dutch movie. We don't really have like a big movie industry, so most of the culture is also coming from Hollywood here, and then you combine it with like the culture from the European Union that is trying to like collapse our national economies, like replacing our currency, replacing our flag with the European flag, and replacing our legal systems everywhere, and yeah, so that's really where the kind of like the danger comes from, and not so much from immigrants or whatever. I don't feel that, but some do feel like feel that. So
yeah, it's all part of the plan. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, the refugees from these countries that we are like all attacking from Syria and stuff, they don't have the money to decide what movies we have in our cinema. So they don't decide that. They are not actually replacing our culture. I mean, the big movie companies like from the USA and stuff, they decide what is shown. They are these big TV companies. They decide what is shown on our TV. They are actually feeding into our culture. They are actually deciding what our culture is. So, and that is yeah. I mean, our food is also like we also have Subway and McDonald's and Burger King and stuff everywhere here.
Yeah,
I mean,
American food is in every country.
Yeah, that's too bad because
Like
that's a
KFC.
really bad.
Yeah.
That's a bad example of American food. I mean, it really is. I mean,
Well, American junk food is international.
yeah, geez, what a thing to export. You know what the fuck?
It supports diabetes.
Oh well, it's all about big pharma then. Oh, I have to be okay.
That's KFC, man.
yeah, but you know, America, like on Christmas, I tried to like get food in my town. Everything was closed, right? Every single restaurant was closed except for one place, and that was McDonald's.
Yeah, they're always
It's like
open
the
on
only-
Christmas.
Yeah.
And these your McChickens and your McDoubles.
Oh,
Yeah,
the menus change internationally, so it'd be a Royale with cheese.
We have McRocket. We have McRockets. We have.
McCrockets.
It'd be a Beatrice burger instead of a King burger.
I think they do have that sometimes, like these specials. I think they actually do have that, like King Burger and stuff.
Watch that coronary, man.
Got to bow down to your royals, or else they get pissed off.
I only go there for coffee. It's like they do have some good coffee there sometimes.
I can't believe they were a powerhouse in Chicago. You know, when I was living there, they didn't really have that huge of a I like even driving around like Oak Brook and shit, like their headquarters and stuff. When I used to live out there, you wouldn't have known that their headquarters were there. I mean, like their presence wasn't really like even like the McDonald's that was like near the Oak Brook headquarters when it used to be out there, like they weren't like their menu wasn't like gourmet or anything. Like I thought that they would have been like all special and there'd been a chef and like not low level employees. It was just still the same like every other McDonald's.
We got a guy in the comments say there's a McDonald's in Mecca. Really?
Probably. Well, they do.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah. Because like in Israel, I know that they do. They all their meat, everything that they have on the menu is kosher. So I imagine in Mecca they would do it all halal style. So
I have something about that. The day, like, remember the Vietnam War, right? The America, like, the day they left Vietnam, and they, like, some people say they lost the war, but they left Vietnam, and the next day the first McDonald's was started in their capital city.
No shit.
The American army left Vietnam, and I read about it. I was shocked by it, but reading it. But then suddenly the commercials move in. Like, what the hell? Didn't you just like lose the war? And then like
McDonald's comes in. Hey, we have a Saigon burger.
Yeah, they actually did.
Well, they're very. I mean, man, they work hard, man. I know a Vietnamese guy, man. I mean, they're the hardest working. They're there to make a buck, like.
And people were standing in line for that McDonald's there, right? There were like huge lines.
But look, we stop this fight and we'll put a McDonald's in your country. Yeah, we're cool.
No, but that
doesn't even sound right. It's like, how do we get away with that? It's like, what is it about McDonald's that would be so special that you'd want one?
It makes me think about like the Iraq situation. That the day they say they leave Iraq, then the oil companies move in with their private armies and
put a McDonald's in Baghdad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the real strength of America.
McDonald's.
So we tear down a mosque and we put a McDonald's there. That's like the new symbol of big arches. It's like America won. Wow.
Let me see.
That's how you squash the beef.
And I'm from Croatia.
Yeah, Yugoslavia. Yeah, I had family out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But we left during the Cold War. So.
Yeah. So like they are also fucked. Like he says like most young people want to go out of the EU in Croatia because before that they were Yugoslavic, and I know under Tito was like a real communist regime. But there was no war between them. They had like a Yugoslavic empire with like Bosnia, Serbia, Albania and stuff. They were all in there, Croatia. And then the EU and NATO comes and they pretty much divided this entire country, made them all fight each other, and then offer the European Union as a solution at the end. Like pretty much like what they're doing in other countries too. They say like, you're all going to war. But we can fix it, and we're going to arrest your presidents, and then if you do well, then you can join the European Union. Croatia can join first, and then it'll all be fine. And then they think like they will get this perfect package of democracy and stuff, and then they find out the European Union is even worse.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah.
Well, what could go wrong? You got a former Nazi that runs the thing. I mean, come on. You do a little checking on your history there, you might figure it out.
Oh no, that was in Hungary.
Oh, I'm talking about Juncker.
Oh, Juncker?
Yeah, that's a good German name. I mean, that should bring some bells, but it doesn't. That's what kills me.
Yeah.
Oh, he says good explanation. Yeah, sorry. I mean, it is shocking to see what the European Union is doing, what the NATO is doing to like all over the world, and they're pretty much using the same strategies everywhere. So it becomes, after a while, it becomes very visible what they're doing. There's always this divide and conquer, and I know that Croatians and Bosnians and Serbians, they never hated each other. They were just made to hate each other, and that is just really how it goes. Because they really had a strong national identity. I mean, they even had like the third or fourth strongest army in Europe, and people were really countries like France and Germany and stuff. They were really scared of the Yugoslavic empire because it was a communist bloc. It was like a real form of communism under Tito. It was not like the Russian communism. It was not like a Chinese communism. It was like a different Tito-style government. It was very
very Marxist.
Stalin at first. Yeah. At first, Stalin was like a friend of Tito, but then later on, Stalin also tried to kill Tito for 29 times. The Americans tried to kill Tito 60 times, and they always failed killing this guy. And that these people were they were not super happy under Tito. It was like a kind of oppressive regime too, but it was different. And now it's replaced by an oppressive, super capitalist system, and it's like the same oppression, but it was advertised as freedom, right? And yeah.
Too bad they don't make Yugos anymore. Those are damn good cars. You could break one and then you could get another one for like $500.
Fix it with your pocket knife.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like someone I know from the Yugoslavic area actually said that Tito once made like the tunnel systems for Saddam Hussein, escape tunnel systems.
No shit.
Yeah, like huge tunnel systems.
When it's all like a loose union, you're all cooperating, and then all of a sudden you want to leave and you can't leave. That's your big red flag that something's going on.
Yeah. They're going hard against England now. I never expected them to attack England like this. To attack the UK like this is really shocking.
John, there's a message for you in the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're putting it in the chat in the Hangouts.
It's in the main Hangouts.
Well, okay. Oh, you have an activist, okay.
Yeah, we can mention that. You can mention that.
Okay, yeah, okay, well, we got the Yemen activists coming in tomorrow. They want to come in at 6 p.m. UK time. So we'll, yeah, we'll try to we'll connect with them and
hopefully their English is better than the last guys that we had. I couldn't understand I couldn't understand anything they were saying.
Seemed like there'd be
kind of like
kind
Porter
of
John tennis.
Well, no, I mean the other guys that we were supposed to have on, I like their English was okay, was okay, but it wasn't like they could hold on a conversation, you know, which would have been a major, unless we have an interpreter, there would have been a major issue.
Yeah, that's what you really need.
Yeah. I don't know in Yemen if they're speaking Arabic or Farsi. Arabic wouldn't be a problem to get an interpreter. Or Farsi would, or at least for me.
We tried it last time. I think they were also from Yemen, and they did bring their own interpreter. Or one guy stood up as interpreter. He was like translating everything in the chat. But this is a while ago, maybe like a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blackburner Kevin. Cool.
So the guy in a YouTube chat says the temper of the people in the Balkans, they're very tempered people and easily turned against each other for ideals. I think maybe that's the case with most of us. I mean, they use our ideals against one another.
Yeah.
What's dividing people? Religion or culture or whatever, or
color, or anything they can find.
I remember I used to have quite a few friends from Albania. They were cool as fuck.
Yeah,
heavy metal was huge in Albania. I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, there's a band come from Iraq. One of the first heavy metal bands. The Hebrew name for an arachnid. They're actually some pretty cool dudes.
Yeah.
I don't remember the names, but they could jam. It was some really scary music if you've never really heard the Hebrew language, with the drop C's and B's. It was really scary.
Oh yeah, like the band. I played that for you, Mepharash, right?
Yeah, that was one band.
Yeah, they're from. Yeah, I think they're from. I didn't know where they were from. I'm just assuming they're from Israel.
These guys I'm talking about, they come out after Saddam Hussein was caught up.
Yeah.
And here Hebrew actually matches the country very well. I mean, in Amsterdam, there's like the street slang is kind of like Yiddish style of language. It's like the sounds of it are very, very Yiddish, very very much like Hebrew. Completely different language, but the sounds of it, and I mean the way the throats are used and stuff, and speaking out words and stuff. So it is a.
There's this group, Hyflung. Is that their name? Is that how you spell it? Hyflung?
Haifa?
Hyflung. They're
Haifa's in Israel.
No, this is a Norwegian band. I've seen them on YouTube a few times. They do like tribal sounds, I guess you would call it.
What else do I have going on here? Oh, the ACTA protests. ACTA 2 protests. They're still going on in January, right?
Yeah, January 19 at 2 o'clock all over Europe. In Brussels, Amsterdam, London, and most European countries. I think we already have like 14 out of 28 now. Hoping to get the rest too, but at least in all these cities we'll go. And then maybe like 2 weeks later we go again in more cities. I hope people will wake up to it. There is support from some local political parties. The Pirate Party and stuff is of course supporting it. And yeah, in Poland is actually a huge political support. I mean the ruling party is actually fully in support of Stop ACTA. So
yeah,
there is some political movement, and Scandinavia, of course, is always against ACTA and restricting rules. The funny thing is, France is really behind ACTA. They are like really trying to censor the internet. So there's another thing. Yeah, France and Spain are like the most aggressive pushers of this new censorship law. So
that's weird.
It's going to be funny because Macron is going to take another hit.
Yeah, those Yellow Vest guys are going hard. They went hard through Christmas. I was like, wow.
Yeah, they're actually saying expand it, Tyler. They're saying like we're not happy with ACTA as is. We have to expand it, make it even worse.
That's weird. That's so weird. That's so weird. That's like back ass words of like everything that they're doing right now.
Yeah, let me see. I've got a small picture of how the countries are standing now. I have to download it real quick, but I know our country is fully against it. I mean, so we don't actually have to protest in Amsterdam, but it's just for like getting some attention to it because Netherlands is openly against it, and they will be against it because it doesn't benefit us. I mean, freedom of information benefits our small country because we're very media based. Many small bloggers and promoting of products because we're like 85% export country, and it is just very restricting. I mean, a country like ours will never vote in favor of ACTA. They will try everything to stop it, but we have 28 countries voting. I think we are like divided 50-50 all over Europe, about 50-50. So we have to push the law. We have to push Germany over the edge to vote against it, and maybe another country, and then we'll win.
Hopefully, yeah, because like it's gonna suck if it passes.
Yeah.
That means I guarantee you that all of the servers in the EU will move. Well, they'll move wherever they don't have to abide by the ACTA laws.
Yeah, and we have to remember that the law is already created in the United States, but it is not enforced yet. It is CESPA, FOSTA. Yeah, but the second it gets introduced in Europe, you can better be sure that they will also enforce it in the United States.
They've been selectively using the SOSA thing. That's how they took down back pages, but I haven't heard. I haven't heard of anybody else being prosecuted with that law.
Yeah, but they won't do it like now all over the country because it is only restricting to the U.S. economy. But they can only do it if we all do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I posted a little list of the countries. This is the standpoints of EU members.
Austria's in favor?
I don't know why. I don't.
That's very
I don't
weird.
get it.
Wow.
So skeptical means that they are against it as it is now. So the current law, how it is written now, they are against it with skeptical. They want like a rewriting of the law. Netherlands is against it.
Malta, nothing. Doesn't surprise me.
So Poland says nothing, but Poland is actually against it too. So that they can be made green.
Does how many votes does Malta in the EU get more votes than any other? Because like it's like one of the tiniest nations. In the
I think
EU.
everyone gets one vote. I think everyone gets one vote, but there is also a rule that says
Luxembourg in there. Oh yeah, there is. Yeah.
I think Juncker owns Luxembourg, doesn't he? Or one of those small countries.
Yeah, but the thing is in Europe, they all actually get one vote. But I did read one of the Polish guys told me, one of the anti-actor guys, he said if we get 25% of the population, then it's also stopped.
Speaking of Poland, I'm going to drop a link in here. And this is for us in the back channel. If you guys want to talk about it, that's cool. I don't know how good your Polish is.
No.
I came across this device. I don't know how much that is in US dollars, but this Polish dude came up with this really cool product.
With translator?
No. It's a password decryptor for your phone when you lock yourself out.
Huh.
Yeah. Same ones the feds
This
are
product
using.
cannot be purchased using PayPal due to the limitations of computer surveillance products.
Yeah. So
Other
basically,
payment methods are...
So basically, if you lock yourself out of an iPhone or oh, that link works here. She must be banned.
You're on an EU ban.
Yeah. The product is so basically. Well, it's the same product that the feds are using right now to when they take your phone and and you don't give them the password. Some Polish company is now selling it for. They're selling it. I just don't know how much that is in USD. Something cool. Anywho.
What is the price? What is the price then? What is he asking for it? Let me see.
Looks like $33.99 PLN, whatever that is, ZVAT.
Yeah, I saw it on Hacker House. It was you know that school. It's affiliated with Hacker House.
So that's $900.
Oh, that's cheaper than the one the feds wanted. They wanted $250,000 for that one.
That was the government price.
Yeah, that was the government price. Yet another device I want. Okay. What else do we got?
Is it like brute force your iPhone or something?
It does use exploits too to try and break your code. But yes, basically it's a brute force.
It's used to read the brute force screen lock code. The whole operation takes place without routing.
Yeah, I saw the account, one of the accounts affiliated with the Hacker House, using it, and it definitely works. But it looked like it was on older iPhones. It also works on Android too. Something that'll probably get you in trouble if you buy in the USA.
I thought the iPhone was so protected against that stuff. I mean,
yeah, I know, right? But now they're selling something that'll hack your phone.
Yeah.
Literally, all you need is a Thunderbolt cable and hook it up.
Oh my god! But wait, like real quick. He says like it works on all devices based on iOS 7.xx. If the iPhone is blocked, try for 23 million minutes. If it is disabled, try again in 23 million minutes. Oh my god.
Let me see. Thailand legalized medical marijuana. The first,
Really?
That's the first country in South Asia to legalize medical marijuana. So this might be, you might see a trend growing.
Hey, Thai stick's always been good, right? I mean, you know, they were known already for some great weed. You know.
Yeah. True. Well, I mean, Asia has been bending to medical marijuana a little bit, to a slight degree. Japan allowed CBD, but that's about it. But not in China or any other place. So definitely Thailand will be the starting trend for medical marijuana in Asia.
Okay, well, it's about time they do that.
You wouldn't think it'd be that big deal. You know?
Well, it kind of is. I mean,
it's like takes several lifetimes to get all this done. I mean, like these governments are just so pathetic.
Yeah. God, we lost all of our viewers. Am I that bad?
Really? We have 0?
No, we're hitting the tens or teens.
Yeah.
Well, bring on that stripper you were talking about, Tyler.
I know,
what are you waiting
for?
For?
Right? Man, we might call it an early episode and run out of topics. Do you guys remember that homeless veteran that got for the GoFundMe? They got $400,000 on his GoFundMe.
On Facebook, fucked him over.
No, here's the thing: is that like a judge deemed that the story's getting kind of confusing. I'm trying to dig through the pieces, but GoFundMe, according to the reports, had returned the money, but he already got it. So I'm not understanding how the media is fucking up this article, because they're saying it was all made up, but the guy was really a homeless veteran, but they took all of his money away.
Oh no, there was 2, and then these 2 people stole the money that was allegedly for him. I did see that. Yeah.
No. So he ended up suing the homeless vet. Ended up suing the couple, but I think the media is fucking up the story like really, really, really bad. You know.
That's their job. Keep you distracted and disoriented and ears filled with fake news. You know, it seems to be their job now.
Yeah, the media is making it seem like the homeless vet wasn't a homeless vet, but he definitely was homeless and a vet. And how could GoFundMe return all the money if the money has been given to him? See, that story's not adding up.
Is that even legal? Can they even do that?
Yeah.
Hey, well, you know how these companies are, man. They got more rights than you do now. They're actually a person. A company is a person. You're not a person anymore. You're just a slave.
Yeah, I've read about that. Yeah, they get like rights of persons now.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's not a joke, man. It's unfortunately.
What is this?
That's not good.
2 articles I found. So apparently Amazon sent audio recordings of the Alexa users to strangers.
That doesn't surprise me. Oh, Wakas! I haven't heard from him in a while.
Oh, he's still posting every day on our on our Facebook pages, but like, at this moment, I think he's the only one posting that. I mean, since we're not really using Facebook anymore, I mean, but he's still using all our stuff, so it's like every page is now filled with Hackread.com stuff, which is fine. What else?
For? Authorities shut down 15 popular DDoS for hire websites. Cyber criminals for revenge and DDoS. Those are the cool websites, you know?
Yeah, with all the good links to the other cool websites.
It's fucking Dutch police involved again.
Yeah, Politi and FBI and the NCA and
oh man, you're in
the
trouble
DOJ.
now, huh?
And then you got what is it? Interpol.
Yep.
Yeah. Fucking Dutch police, cybercrime. They actually employ former black hats. They recruit from the hacker community, so they got some pretty skilled guys there. And so I used to like participate in the national cybersecurity challenge. It's like a hacking contest. Yeah. I always used like a burner email, right? And like this has been maybe like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I still get like at this burner email, I still get job offers from these guys. They actually like if you like finish like 5 or 6 questions of it like correctly, then you get job offers from
no shit.
Yeah, the cybercrime and anti-cybercrime Dutch police. They recruit very heavily in the black hat world, and that's why they are constantly seizing such websites.
Yeah, but if you're a black hat and then you go to the police, you're technically going to the dark side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait a minute. You're already a black hat. You'll do anything. Why is this surprising?
Yeah, that's true.
If you're a smart black hat, you actually know what they can use against you.
Or you're just a man on the inside waiting to fuck them over.
Yeah. Well, these cybersecurity challenges were not that difficult. They have some. It starts out with doxing. You have to like find links of certain people using certain usernames on forums and stuff. Then it involves like Wireshark and all these things, and to actually gain access to an email account of a person with using the Wireshark and such things. It is pretty basic, but
Why
it is
to see if any packets were sent with the password in clear text.
Yeah, such stuff. Yeah. And it ends with using a hashcat to decode an encrypted code, so a password. Yeah, by using brute force and assault, you find in some other place.
Brute force isn't really like a good strategy anymore. I mean, a lot of websites have 1, 2, 3, and the site's locked down. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is like that. Of course, it is all. It doesn't work anymore like that. But if you actually have the password and you can brute force it locally, then it's a different story, of course. Okay.
Yeah. Because you can. I'm not going to go into strategies. I'll probably get in trouble if I want to hear. Anywho.
I think for educational purposes, we can inform our public. We don't do so much about hacking on the show, so yeah.
Educational, there you go.
Well, I also watch Thug Crowd too. They kind of like they're more of a hacker based show. But even though when they're talking about stuff, they kind of bounce around the thing that they're trying to describe because they don't want to get into trouble. But they're cool guys.
I'm not sure. Are we even allowed to do all that stuff? I mean, are we allowed to do that on YouTube or on Facebook? Can we talk?
I'm not sure because the terms of service are changing on YouTube to the point where they want everything kind of G-rated, or PG-13,
Except for the pedophilia and all the weird stuff and it's satanic, that's okay. ISIS, if you know.
Well, I watch Cody's Lab, and they had to take down his stuff for because he does a lot of science experiments, and he had a bunch of episodes on how to make explosives, and they took that away. They took those down off his channel, but then they left the one where he tells people how to refine uranium from uranium ore on his channel. So I'm like, you got rid of the one where they tell you how to make explosive, but Cody's Lab is telling you how to make nukes.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Like,
and this kid is refining uranium ore into uranium metal. I mean, which really isn't like too out there, but I mean, this is a long step in a process in how to make nuclear materials for weapons.
Yeah, what I don't get either is like these people are like fighting like an uphill battle, and I think they know it because you're censoring this stuff on YouTube or like on normal websites, but you can get all these guides on like Swedish websites and stuff where it is allowed. Yeah. Just on the ClearNet. I mean, you don't have to actually visit the dark web or whatever. You can just Google for it on the ClearNet. Like literally use Google.
Yeah, you type in thermonuclear warhead plans, and I'm pretty sure you'll find something.
Yeah.
You'll find a honeypot site.
You're like, whoa,
that probably don't work if you really did it. You know.
Well, I was showing you the ones where they had homemade EMPs, the ones the size of a Volvo van. They weren't nuclear powered. They weren't nuclear powered, but they were by using transformers and stuff. But still, just as effective. You know, I mean, you can find anything on the ClearNet.
So I once read about this guy in the U.S. who was arrested because he was collecting all this radioactive material from smoke detectors.
Oh, americium, yeah. I found that out too the hard way. You know, like I was like taking one apart. Don't ask me what state of mind I was or what I was on at that point, but I was taking one apart and I saw a nuclear symbol, and I was like, why is there a nuclear symbol in a smoke detector? Only to find out that it uses americium, which emits beta particles, which won't pass through your skin, but it uses if the smoke goes through the containment field in there, which is like a bunch of like vents in there, and when the americium bounces back closer than where the end of the field the encasing is, then it knows that there's smoke in there, and then the fire alarm goes off. But yeah, you can get nuclear materials from smoke detectors. And
yeah.
All sorts of unconventional places. Oh, now we have more listeners. I'm talking about weird shit.
Oh. Our new Fed brothers have shown up.
Yeah.
Watch, I'll get our YouTube channel taken down.
Yeah, these guys you guys are selling this stuff. We're not selling this. You're putting in nuclear material in these smoke detectors. Just repeat it again. There is actual nuclear material in smoke detectors. Yeah.
Yeah. Among a few other things, yeah, there are nuclear materials and things that we use every day.
Yeah, I found
like thorium or for the old
medical field all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thorium,
that seems to be pretty,
thorium is from a byproduct of uranium and something else. I forget how it's made. Gives it that
Actually,
that weird nuclear powered glow. Because yeah, thorium glows green.
Oh, isn't that one that lasts like 100? Gives you that 100-year engine.
What?
Isn't thorium the one they use in some of these plans where they can have like a 100-year engine? You never have to. You fuel it up one time for your lifetime. I want to say they're thorium powered.
Yeah, I remember seeing something about that.
Actually reading an article now about everyday products that are radioactive, and they're literally saying that Brazil nuts are radioactive, beer is radioactive because it contains the isotope potassium-40.
Now, what puts it in the beer? What's from the grains, or
they say all foods which contain potassium have some of this isotope, so you could consider this a nutrient in beer. Of the items on the list, beer probably is the least radioactive, but it's amusing to know that it is in fact slightly hot.
Hey kids, watch out watch out what kind of potassium you guys are using.
Yeah. And kitty litter is also radioactive, they say.
Sir Coleman lamps. I didn't say that.
Huh.
Never mind, I didn't say that out loud.
Fluorescent lights emit radiation.
Yeah.
They
well, they got mercury in the old tubes too, the fluorescent.
It's actually Krypton 85, a beta and gamma emitter with a half-life of 10.4 years.
Yeah, it's gamma. It's gamma that's more dangerous. It's the beta won't.
Yeah.
Beta won't kill you, but alpha and beta particles won't kill you, but gamma will.
But beta goes that doesn't penetrate your skin.
Doesn't
but
penetrate.
I know
Yeah, it doesn't penetrate.
It goes like a few millimeters, but I did read that it could be like dangerous to your eyes, I think.
Possibly, but it's highly unlikely that you'll ever find in nature americium or any of those in pure form in large amounts, unless you're working with it.
Yeah, but
you see them in the aluminum. Yeah, we had a americium source and
because americium has to be refined.
Strontium 90.
It has to be refined
for the beta,
and it's very difficult to get americium or to make or to refine it from ore.
You see it a lot in industry. They like on conveyor belts, like weighing things. I mean, there's a lot of places where they use sources. It's surprising. That's where you get the bigger ones.
It's like, why
industrial weld checking.
So we stop talking about politics, and we're talking about building nuclear materials, and now we have more viewers.
Yeah. That's right, because we're getting to the point. We're going to refine it. We're getting to the point where all we need is the trigger. If we get the trigger mechanism, we're set. We'll be in good shape.
All right, guys, you want to learn how fusion works?
Yeah, but it is true. The viewers are growing because we're talking about nuclear stuff. Oh my god, man!
Well, the French have that ITER. I think ITER. That they're about ready to figure out fusion. It's not really
cold fusion,
green
right?
friendly or anything.
Is it cold fusion?
No, this is a full blown fusion plant. They're trying to get to the point where they can, and they're almost there with that one, where they can get to where they're getting enough power out for what they're putting in, but. Yeah, the French are kind of on the cutting edge of fusion research.
Yeah, if we could perfect, what is known as cold fusion, yeah, we really wouldn't have to worry about nuclear power plants ever. Well, it's not necessarily true, because I can see the containment field going off, and then cold fusion turns into hot fusion.
So the theory behind fusion is kind of like what the sun is doing. Constantly.
Yeah. But there's byproducts of fusion plants that's pretty nasty. They're not really environmentally friendly either.
None of it is environmentally friendly. It belongs. That's the stuff that belongs in stars.
You get too close to the sun, it'll fuck you up too. I mean, it's just bad shit, man.
Yeah. The French are really into nuclear energy. Their country is filled with nuclear plants, and I mean, when all countries are like in Europe, like closing their nuclear plants, the French are actually building new ones, increasing it. Yeah, I don't know. Is there ever a disaster? Then France is fucked.
That's a long-term disaster. There, that's all you can say. Sooner or later, those plants are going to go to shit, and what are they going to do with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they've done here. They gave you an initial plants that were built in the 70s, got a 25-year license. Hell, they're pushing 50 years now. They're just like hey, let's make it 75. You know, and they're leaking. They know they're leaking.
Yeah, I was going to say the lifespan
you know,
of those enclosures don't last very long. You know,
no, they're pushing them to the max, and they're going to crack. They're going to be some big fuck ups here before too long. Well, like Fukushima, like that isn't a fuck up. That's the big one there.
Yeah, but
that's been going on for what, like 8 years now?
Didn't like 11,000 people die already from that?
Well, who knows? Because it's illegal to talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, in Japan it is. We don't give a shit, so we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, Fukushima is like it still damages the entire planet. I mean, all the oceans and everything. So.
Yeah, where's the UN, man? I mean, is that just cool? Japan could just treat the Pacific Ocean like a toilet bowl and just say, fuck it, we don't want to fix it, you know? That's okay. They don't want to talk about it, so we just let it all happen. Yeah. Strange, man.
You got one in the comments saying the EU needs more nuclear energy because Russia owns the EU as long as they control the oil and natural gas supply. Which is technically true. I mean, the entire Europe does get its gas and oil from Russia. Yeah. Well, oil from the Middle East too, but yeah.
Well, my recommendation would be to get Halliburton in there and frack the shit out of wherever you live, and then you'll have gas too. Probably oil.
Yeah.
You may not have drinkable water, but you'll have oil and gas.
I don't know. I never understood why they aren't like using the water and stuff to get more energy. I mean, I think the Chinese are doing it with more like water with more hydro plants, but why aren't we doing it? Like use like the oceans and the rivers. I don't get it. Like solar and wind is like easy for them. I mean, they put solar panels everywhere and wind generators in here too. I mean, we're filling the country up with windmills again, and where are the water mills? Fill it up. If you need energy, I mean, like 80% of the planet is filled with water.
Yeah.
That seems like Netherlands. Don't they have some like wave generation facilities? I mean,
you would say so. Yeah, they have some prototypes, but why aren't they doing it?
Yeah, you need to go full scale.
Yeah. I mean, the technology is there. They can easily do it. We have some few big rivers too, like the Rhine, and River Rhine is a very big river, and you can easily use it to generate energy. Like. I don't know, but I'm still waiting for the moment that they actually make solar panels like more efficient. They have like a small panel and you like generate a lot more energy from it. I don't know if that ever happens, but
yeah,
it's got to get cheap, cheaper. Well, you need to start living. You got to start figuring out how to live underground, because as soon as the nuclear war hits and they blow everything up, you're not going to want to be on the surface.
You'll have a baptism of fire.
Yeah, the Pacific Ocean's already polluted.
Yeah,
and they're worried about plastic straws and plastic bags and shit like. Okay, whatever.
Oh, birds and fish. They find like dead fish and dead birds, and they have like their stomachs filled with plastics and stuff. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's a problem. Well, this is just like the Gulf of Mexico when that well blew out. They just turned it into an industrial pond. They just it pumps for like 3 months, just full blast, fucks everything up. And it's like no big deal. It's amazing that the way these corporations, the way they can treat things, Tokyo Electric Power, it's like, oh yeah, we're just dumping it in the ocean, no big deal. And have laws passed so you can't talk about it. I mean, it's a strange way of thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, but I saw these islands where like no man has ever been on these islands, and it's like the shores are filled with plastics and stuff. I don't know if any of you saw these videos about it, but there are some.
Oh, that plastic island that's floating around the Pacific.
Oh yeah, that too. That's even worse. Yeah.
Well, I think the problem with this plastic is it's actually coming from, if I'm getting this right, Mike, like from Indian and China rivers that are pumping out. You know, they don't have. I mean, it's not that we're not putting anything out in America. I'm sure we are, but I mean, we're far cleaner than other people who are dumping straight into the ocean. I mean, it's just like, come on, you know. Yeah. But there's this policy that you can just dump whatever you want, and you're not even like trying to be like socially responsible at all. You know, it's just like, hey, it's the cheapest way. We just throw a pipe out there to the river and just pump our shit that we don't want to pay for to get taken care of, you know, into the water and say, fuck it, you know.
Yeah.
Do it to themselves.
It's shocking because humans are only like we only exist for such a short time. I mean, 100 years from now.
Might be a little shorter then.
Yeah.
With a little help from all your global friends who are dumping all their shit in the water, you know.
Yeah, I mean, future generations are going to be fucked if it continues like that. I mean, yeah. Talking about global warming and stuff, but you're actually filling the oceans with plastics and other crap. That's far, far, far worse. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're filling. We're filling every house now with radioactive smoke detectors too.
Yeah, and the cement bases they use for houses is filled with rayon, which can also produce alpha or beta particles.
Oh, you know what's also very cancer-inducing? They don't mention it a lot, but there was like a whole whistleblower thing about it. Like they use like impregnated woods and stuff, right, to build like fences. And some of this stuff is so cancerous. If you like touch it, there's already a chance you will get like cancer.
Well,
so we have the big
weatherproofed wood has like arsenic and it's a copper arsenic solution for the keep the bugs out of it.
The arsenic is will definitely kill you.
Oh yeah, so I don't really know much about it. I do know that the company Philips here, there was a former Philips employee, was a very big guy at the technology department, and he was like a whistleblower, and he said, this impregnation of woods they're using is super cancerous, and if you touch it and then like touch your mouth with your finger or whatever, then you got a big chance you already get like cancer. So I have to look more into it because it's a few years ago, but I do know that that's
there are chemicals that will cause cancer. You know, like benzene and a lot of radioactive radioactive materials that they're known to be poisonous and to cause cancer instantaneously. You know.
Yeah, so we had this whole asbestos generation, and then that was taken out, and then now they have this impregnated stuff that also has to be removed, just like asbestos, but they're just using it.
There's a big mine in Russia where they make where like most of the world's asbestos comes from, and the people around there like aren't worried that they're gonna get cancer or mesothelioma from asbestos.
Yeah, it's incredible. Someone in Ref says in the comments, so this guy, Bojan Slat from Croatia, he made an interesting project called Ocean Cleanup. Have you heard of it? They ask.
No, I haven't, but I do know that there are a lot of projects going out there to try and clean the ocean, or at least that trash pile that's out there.
There was that young kid that the Bilderbergers brought in. I forget his name. He was working on something like that.
Oh, I just failed again because this guy is actually from the Netherlands. I think he's Croatian, but he's actually from my country, and he is actually a young kid. He's 24 years old. Bojan Slat.
Well, I mean, you could always round it up, you know, and you know, or dissolving it would be more harmful to the environment. It's just, you know what I mean. I've heard of people, you know, trying using like enzymes to break down. They do use that in dumps though. They do spray enzymes to break down plastics and shit that end up in the dump pile, but that ends up being more toxic in the long run because of the byproducts from what the enzymes are doing to the plastics. They're not necessarily safe, you know.
I think I remembered it now. Yeah, he claims to like be able to remove like half of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch in just 5 years.
It's definitely a tedious process.
Well, that's a big message.
Should I read it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of our teams says the biggest difficulty she has with inviting activists into her show is that they don't really know why anonymity matters for us, and so they often ask why we are all like anonymous, and why can't we, and how can they trust our credibility and identities, and so when they listen to our episodes, they actually love them and they are convinced they had to join. She asks if we can clear the issue why we are actually using anonymity. What not all of us are doing, by the way, but yeah.
Well, there is more power in anonymity.
The great thing about Anonymous is you can actually use your real name, and they think you're using an alias because you're with Anonymous, but it's your real name.
Or you can actually use a fake name they actually think is your real name. Yeah. It's also I think, like, yeah, I faced that thing a lot. So why are we using anonymity? Yeah, well, we're also talking about operations the government and stuff don't really like. So unless you want to get like arrested or harassed every day by government officials or by evil cults like Scientology, then it's wise to just stay anonymous. And why wouldn't you? I mean, we don't have to take credit for any of the stuff we do.
LowSec Ops is doing I didn't mean to cut you off. They're doing a fundraiser for BTC voting for Sabu Wars.
Yeah. Those are the guys who've been releasing Sabu's webcam pictures.
They're using Metasploit framework to get it. I knew I like when I saw the pictures and they said it was a webcam. I knew exactly how they did it. I'm like, you got to be using Metasploit framework or Trojan, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, Sabu, you can't really do anything about this anymore, Mister. You already have all your stuff, and it was done while you were playing Diablo.
I already have a picture of him naked, dude. Yeah, dude. Well, I think he's naked. He's not wearing a shirt, and then he's getting drunk in his room. It looks like he lives in a tiny ass room.
Yeah. So so you could expect this, Sabu, when you were like snitching other people's out, and they already have all your stuff. So.
Well, he should have expected you, right? Expect this, right? I mean, come on.
Well, this is LowSec. Yeah, LowSec does whatever LowSec wants. They don't really. There's really no rhyme or reason to what LowSec does, though.
No, there isn't. No.
They're kind of the out of the confines of the Anon world. They went into a hacking spree, and remember everybody got arrested.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah.
Like everybody, almost everybody.
Yeah, they say there are like one or two never identified. You have an AV unit, of course, it was never identified.
Jeremy was arrested. Jeremy was arrested.
Yeah. Yeah, so they were getting Sabu's pictures while he was playing Diablo 3, and I think this happened a while ago, and it's not happening right now. So I think it's already too late for him to have all this stuff already.
The funny thing is, he doesn't even know they're in his webcam. He doesn't know, and he was playing Diablo. He was playing Diablo, and he didn't even know that they were fucking taking screenshots from his fucking webcam.
Yeah, I know. The weird thing is, he was actually always the guy delivering all these 0 days and stuff, and doing these huge hacks.
He wasn't doing it though. Jeremy
supposedly.
He was getting the 0 days from the FBI, and Jeremy was doing all.
It
all. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'm gonna say like, he was actually always acting like he was doing all this stuff. He was like receiving these 0 days, of course, from the FBI and stuff. But and now you see that he doesn't even figure out there is a scam.
I think his skills are very like from what I know about him, like I don't think his skill set is very high. He might be able to like break into a router, but that's about it.
Yeah, because of these 0 days, he was like kind of like taking like the public lead on these things. They were also impressed by it because he was just receiving it. Like that day when he came out with actually having recorded on a so-called secret FBI conversation, right? And
is that what he called? Is that when him and when he called the FBI sounding like Obama?
Yeah, he suddenly. I don't really remember it. It's so long ago, but he like suddenly he showed up and he had like a recording of FBI agents talking with each other, and I mean everyone was like shocked. Like, how did you get this stuff? Like,
because he was like for the FBI.
Yeah, of course. Just send it to him, like say like send this to these kids, and they will be impressed with you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I remember like they called. Like one of them, they fucking. I think it was Sabu. He called the FBI phone number, and he recorded the conversation. He was telling people some weird bullshit for like 10 minutes about how the botnet was going to take over America.
Yeah,
it was some weird. It was some weird shit.
Yeah, it's such bullshit.
Well, like what he was saying, like technically made no sense. He kind of sounded like a crazy person, but it was kind of hilarious to hear how long the FBI agent was trying to like figure out what was going on.
Yeah, that's the fun thing. Like he can actually, people like that can actually talk so much shit, but the people they're talking to, like the FBI agents, they know even less.
Yeah.
So, they believe everything you say. Like, they will be so scared. Like, whoa, botnet. Yeah.
And he was asking to speak to their boss, and he was just naming a random name. And they were like, I don't see, he hasn't been around today. Because she wasn't even sure who he was referring to.
No.
Oh, God.
I do always liked it when Team Poison was like trolling GCHQ, because Team Poison was actually really doing shit. I mean, Trick, there he had some serious skills, and they were doing a lot of hacks and a lot of trolling of GCHQ and stuff. And it was always nice to listen to it, because they were just uploading everything to YouTube and stuff. They didn't care. And there's a lot of nice trolling. If you really want to listen to hackers troll the government, then you should just listen to that. Like, because with Sabu it is crap. But Team Poison actually did do a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
They did a lot of weird shit. Remember they're putting like porn all over like the CIA website?
It's perfect, yeah.
They did a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, and then there was like the times with the SCADA stuff too. Yeah, of course. Later, Team Poison members they kind of like joined. They had the horror story that some joined resistance in the Middle East, and kind of like got involved with ISIS and stuff too. So. That's where it goes bad. Some hackers will go rogue. Yeah. But that's what I said earlier in the show too. There was like legitimate hate against like NATO NATO oppression in some countries, and so they join out of legitimate hate against that, and they feel really bad for all these people getting murdered, because really, if you have like really family in such areas, it gets worse. For us, it's like it's almost like watching like Hollywood movies or whatever. But for them, like if you have families there and they are actually being like bombed and stuff, then yeah, you go there and you want to help them out and stuff. At first, also against Assad, of course, and yeah, then you end up in these war zones, and you have to pick a side, and there's only like two sides, then two major sides. It's either the Americans or it is the what is it, the Caliphate.
And now Hezbollah is there.
Oh yeah.
Supports Iran from Syria. No.
yeah. Hezbollah, but yeah, there are so many groups there, and yeah, they have that in Israel. The situation is also.
There's also YPG. YPG is there.
PKK.
PKK. Yeah, there's quite a few factions out there.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, the YPG and the other one you mentioned, they were specifically going after ISIS. The Kurds, because they thought that they would get land, but they didn't give it to them.
Well, they don't like the Turks either.
No,
but the PKK, the PKK is like the Kurdistan, the Kurdistan Workers Party.
Yeah.
This one's founded by Öcalan, and they hate Turkey, of course. Turkey denies even like the genocide and stuff against the Kurds. So yeah.
Yeah, they did. They killed a whole shitload of them last September.
Yeah, I mean the Turkish did so many crimes against the Kurdish people, and they will deny this. They will say no, nothing happens, but it's true.
Yeah,
it's very true. And this is what radicalized PKK, who are always, or anyway, all over Europe, and they actually, like in other countries, the PKK kind of fights for political and cultural rights for the Kurdish minority. It's actually what they just lobby for. They want just rights, voting rights and cultural rights. I mean,
or land.
Yeah, that's what they really desire. Their own country. Yeah, I can't blame them.
There's like 20 million of them spread over several countries.
Yeah. But they are powerful, and we discussed it on the show before too. They're actually being used by a lot of other countries to actually fight other regimes, and well, they don't have their own country and nothing. So
they have an army.
They have an army, for sure. Yeah. Technically, they are considered as far left, anti-capitalist.
Yeah.
But they're also nationalists.
Huh.
Yeah, that's how they are considered. But
yeah, I never got too much in their politics, and
yeah, but that has to do with the history of Öcalan, and yeah, it was like Öcalan. Yeah, he was like a leader, like originally like students and stuff, and he was sentenced to death by the Turkish, like in the 90s, and later was changed into a life imprisonment, I think, and was imprisoned on like an island. Like, but initially he had like the backing of a lot of students, and historically most of the students are like left leaning, and it doesn't really have to do with political, but it has to do with like I think with like poverty among students.
Yeah.
So many students are just poor, so they will always fight for more rights for the poor, until they like get a little older and they find other stuff. But like, I mean, among students, like even in here too, I mean, the students are always like many are left leaning, and I don't know. I think students are not treated well enough. Make education free, but you'd be against that, Preston, I think, or not? Like,
Well, no, not really. I mean, with all the money we waste, especially in the military, I mean, we ought to be able to get free education, health care, and all of it. But I mean, they charge too much for education here. I mean, that's the racket of it.
Oh,
It's one thing to like charge you a little bit, for like basic expenses, kind of like when I was going to school, like in the '80s. But now, I mean, it's just like these kids run up these huge bills. It's just it's another banking racket.
If you want to be a doctor, it's like $250,000.
Yeah, and then they give these kids full recourse loans where they can fuck you for the rest of your life. It's not like a credit card, unsecured where you just walk away and tell them to get fucked. I mean, these are like the old style loans, and they come after you, man. I mean, they're working with the government and all of it. It's one more racket. That's what's called good business in America.
Yeah, so that's what I also feel.
It's like you want to get a good education, you'll be paying it off for the next 40 years,
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're like very into capitalism and you actually support capitalism and you're kind of like right leaning and like libertarian and stuff, then I still think you should support for students like this free education and free healthcare and stuff, because you're actually pumping up your the smart people in your society, and they will actually generate the income for your economy.
Yeah.
It is actually a very smart thing for a capitalist ideology to do, to actually get your own smart people.
Yeah.
You don't have to like get them from China or whatever, because you lack the smart people now. Like,
well, it used to be that way. I mean, you could support your own nation with intelligence needs with. But I mean, the problem with the way our companies work is they want the cheapest guys. It's not that, I mean, there's plenty of guys here that could do a lot of things. They just don't want to pay the wages that Americans need, so they'll get foreigners. It's the classic way business scrambles up their crony way of thinking scrambles things up with the way they operate.
Yeah.
It's into everything. It's always rigged. What I notice about like American way of doing business, it's always rigged certain ways for certain people. It's crony capitalism.
Yeah, I always felt was, but that's personal, is like like education and health and stuff are like human rights. I mean, they should be taken like outside of the political system, outside of left and right, and they should be like guaranteed to everyone, regardless of which country. That everyone just get their free education whenever they want it, and like healthcare too. I mean, just take a few $100 billion off the military costs. I mean,
sure, that's the biggest waste that there is. I mean, that's no doubt about it. You could fund a lot of things with the money they piss away, and still have a hell of a military.
Oh, like the Moab?
For example.
Yeah, what was that? Like $150,000 for one of those things? Maybe no. It was more. It was like $5 million for one of those things.
A nuke the same size is cheaper than what those things cost. Okay, to do it conventionally, it's not smart.
And you need a C-130 Globemaster to drop that thing off.
Yeah, and you want to really be the guy flying that thing in? No, a bunch of Stinger missiles and the rest of it. You're the big guppy flying there. Ooh, like fuck.
Maybe they used the Hercules for that thing, because it has that thing. That thing at least has an M. At least that thing has like a Gatling gun or whatever the fuck it has on it.
Well, yeah, one that's outfitted will, but I don't know that you can do both. But it's the U.S. military. We don't give a shit. We just do it because we can.
Those things are like fucking. Those things are like freight ships just flying in the sky. They don't move very fast.
They're giant. Yeah, it's
an easy target.
And then they dropped a couple of them, and what they do? They turn. They have this. Here's what the U.S. military is great at doing, especially in the Middle Eastern countries. It's like we take boulders and we blast them into rocks, and then we come back again and we blast the rocks into sand, and then when it's sand, we just blast it again, I guess we'll use a nuke too. We'll just turn it to glass. I mean, that's really what we do. Just blow things up.
Yeah.
How can you like drop more weapons that were used in all of World War II on Afghanistan, and you're still sitting there and you got still guys walking around with camels doing the same old shit that they've been doing the whole time? What the fuck? It's like, are you guys doing anything? It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, just imagining that, like, that they drop so many bombs, like, more than during, like, the entire World War II.
It's like,
well, yeah,
really?
Hitler found out real quick is that you couldn't overthrow a country by bombing the shit out of it.
Yeah, Air Forces don't. It's your guys standing in the other guy's capital. That works every time. But airplanes just flying over? No, it's just, come on. And that's an expensive way to do things. It's like, you need airplanes and air power. I mean, it's better than it's ever been, but you can't take over anything with it alone. That's just...
Yeah.
No, I always feel like what they actually do is just like cripple the country, the economy, and then, like, destabilize it. But they are not actually crippling like the enemy army.
No,
Oh.
I mean, they might destroy equipment, but they're still people, and they still have guns and weapons. I mean, need a ground invasion to destroy anything.
Oh, they got like a list of strategic points, like they bomb like an airport, or they bomb like police stations, and then they think they're done. They actually crippled a country, but the enemy army is there, and you're actually moving a country into chaos. Yeah, this.
Sometimes, I mean, if you time it wrong too, if you bombing a place doesn't necessarily do you any good, because that's just more hiding spots for an army if there's one there, and now you really got a problem.
I think that's
they got a million hiding spots.
I think that strategy only worked once, and with the Enola Gay. Hiroshima.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you don't know that reference, I think, that strategy only worked once. Never again.
Yeah. Yeah, and Preston mentioned Hitler's war strategy. Yeah, that was like, if you compare it to like Blitzkrieg, like the quick bombing, then moving tanks in, and moving soldiers in, and if you like, if you're copying that Hitler's imperialism anyway, then why aren't they not doing the other parts of it? Why are they not moving their troops in to actually take care of an enemy army? They're just doing the bombing, like the first part, just destroying a country's infrastructure, and then hoping or thinking that like local militias will like start fighting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, all they do is create chaos all around the world, and if you want the regime change and you want like a democratic person there, I don't think they actually want that at all. But if they want that, then finish the job and then give these people then some real democracy. I think they actually want that.
No, that's just what they say.
Yeah,
it's just
they
diversion.
In Iran.
Yeah, it's obvious. Like World War II is really the last time we ever went to war to do it the old style way and like to end something. Ever since then, it's been this never-ending war of just little police action. They're stirring up stuff, and I don't know. It's like we're full empire mode now, but there's no strategy to end it. It's this never-ending war, and that's like the worst thing you can do. That doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Without jumping in conspiracy mode, I mean, it's actually a real quote. This the old Rockefeller once said. That is that the best time to buy is when the blood is flowing through the streets.
Jesus.
And yeah, like the feeling like if you have chaos and they're all at war, then actually the products become cheap. And the oil is cheap. If you have a chaos in Iraq and everyone is fighting each other and there is no strong company or strong government running the oil sales to you, then you can actually buy real cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it. And that's all Rockefeller actually was right about it. He actually made a smart comment about that.
Well, given all the scumbags that they've backed over the last 100 years or so, especially, they know how to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, back then already. I mean, he owned U.S. Standard Oil, was such a huge company.
Yeah.
They were already doing everything around the world already in similar ways.
Yeah, really, I don't see any of this. You know, you can call the EU, I mean, it's really just a repackaging of the same guys who were already there, who have been doing this all along. Nothing has really changed. I don't think it's the same dynasties. It's just getting repackaged a different way. Give you another layer of government, more taxes, but it's the same guys behind the scenes.
Yeah, I feel the same about that, yeah. It's always been the same with that. And the big industrialists and big bankers, and they all benefit from this stuff. I don't think they really care about politics.
No, they flat tell you that too. They don't care about the laws of the country. There's nothing they can't buy. They don't respect your sovereignty, the legal system, none of that, because they don't have to worry about it anymore. They'll just buy off anybody they need to get what they want done. And people are so corrupt, they'll take the bribes and the payoffs. I think it's amazing, like George Soros, like what he pulled off in Ukraine, you know, for whatever he spent, like $4 or $5 billion to overthrow the Ukraine. It's like, oh, come on, man. You know, it takes more money than that to overthrow a country, and then it's like he pulls it off, you know, and you're like, holy shit, you know, it really is that easy.
Oh yeah, George Soros. He was he's made Man of the Year by the Financial Times now. He was declared Man of the Year. I'm serious. Like he's now. No, you can't say this. Like, I'm not allowed to get a lot of shit again. Like, but he's now he's Man of the Year, and everyone knows one of the most famous Men of the Year of the Times magazine was Adolf Hitler.
Oh, so now the New York Times made him? Is that who made him Man of the Year?
Yeah, there was a whole big article about. I think it was the Financial Times.
Well, he is in a way. He's showing you how global corporate government gets done. It's like if you've got, well, he's showing all the other billionaires how it's done. It's like, look, if you got $50 billion, you know, cough some of it up. Look what you can do, man. I just showed you how it's done. You know, it's just like, whoa, man, you're like the ultimate CEO. It's like you just don't give a fuck about anything. It's all about the power and the money, and it's just like, you're the man, George Soros. Fuck yeah, man. If there's ever a guy you can get behind, man, it's a cutthroat son of a bitch like you, you know. Good job.
Yeah, listen to what they say. It's incredible. This is the dailymail.co.uk. Now they say George Soros is named as Financial Times Person of the Year for being a standard bearer for liberal democracy as it comes under siege from Putin's Russia and Trump's America. London-based newspaper said it was honoring Soros for the values he represents. Mr. Soros is a champion of global liberal causes and a well-known critic of Trump. He also held fund campaigns opposing Brexit and Hungary's Viktor Orban. Like, dude, is this a good thing? How are you funding? Why is it okay to fund campaigns against Brexit that was actually a democratic referendum?
Well, that's where the whole liberal democracy argument kind of falls apart, isn't it? Because that don't really fit. But hey,
okay,
you know what really, but you know what does fit? Corporate global government. Oh man, that makes total sense now. Yeah, now it makes. Yeah, I see what you're doing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're a good guy. Well, you're the man of the year. Fuck yeah. You take over countries, treat people like shit. So what? It's all about the power, man. Good job.
That always surprised me how he got Time Man of the Year. Like, he was already, this was in 38, right?
Oh, Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hitler was also mentioned. It was also a Times Person of the Year. Yeah.
Well, it was a good time for a while. The Happy Times was like 37, 38. They were kicking ass, dude. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, the young girls used to like faint in the street when they saw Hitler. He was really an idol.
Well, he was a pedophile. You know that? He only liked underage girls.
I don't know, but I wouldn't be shocked with it.
Yeah.
People are very disturbed.
Yeah. Well, come on, you're a megalomaniac. You're the Führer now. Come on, you're taking over the whole world. You're kicking everybody's ass. I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be kind of tempting, Tyler? Don't you think? I mean, wouldn't you do it?
No.
Okay, mark that down. Let's all mark that down. Tyler would not do it. He's unbribable. He can't be broken up.
No. It has to do with the power thing, I think. It is not even like, I don't know. I think it has to do with power hungry. And, so I'm just reading this article about Times, and it is shocking to me, really.
This is before he invaded any country, right?
Oh no, there was some going on already. I bet by then it was the first like Sudetenland, and there was some other little, maybe the Austrian, the Anschutz or something going, wasn't that?
Oh yeah,
38.
Then we had the North African tank wars in Algeria.
Oh, that might have been later. Let's see. Well, there was a lot of spies. I mean, the old Casablanca movie, the Morocco, Libya, they were up in the North African, years before, working on it already.
Yeah.
The Italians were in there before that.
Yeah, and you have to that Hitler was also funding the fascists in Spain, of course, before that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He was behind that whole fascist
Franco, yeah.
Yeah.
What's not to like about a fascist, Tyler? I mean, Man of the Year, New York Times. I mean, come on, look. Shows you where their politics is. It's like they can't make it any clearer than that.
They sure got that one wrong.
Here. George Soros actually mentioned the conspiracy. He actually calls us extremists, by the way.
What?
He says, he said, I have been painted as the devil, he said. The fact that extremists are motivated by false conspiracy theories about me to kill hurts me tremendously.
Stop doing shady shit on crashing markets. And then,
sorry, dude, we just talked about a democratic referendum called Brexit, and this article you agreed on literally says you try to stop that democratic Brexit. I don't know.
Yeah, most of his moves on the markets are all politically motivated to do one thing or another. He's an instigator.
Yeah, but it's not a conspiracy theory. I mean, it's like they're openly saying it. Like, why do you always have to call it conspiracy theories? Like, it's not a theory.
Like I'm not getting the man wrong. He has done some good things to make himself look good, in front of the people. But he's done more bad things than he has good, so that doesn't even out. And it's aligned with the globalist agenda, so. He always leaves that part out.
Yeah, well, there is just one thing that you can just say. You can just forget about all the theories and all this stuff. This guy is a billionaire, and he's working with other billionaires. These guys together can cure world hunger in one day, and they choose not to do it.
Yeah.
So that's all you need to know about these guys. That is how these people really are. And yeah.
Oh, it's so much more fun to treat you like shit. I mean, it's just you really got to accept their mindset, Like maybe the whole craven megalomania,
Yeah, but like you don't need the conspiracy theories, but just to understand how these people think, and like they have these, they can cure world hunger, and they choose not to. They know they can. They actually know, like we can do it now, and there will be no hungry African ever again. There will be no hungry person in Asia ever again. All children can just grow up and be as in normal ways. They can do it, but they choose not to. And whatever they do, like giving their little money to Ronald McDonald's fund. They can do it already, and like, that's the real mindset of these people. And they judge if they are good or bad people just by doing that. Like, yeah, I don't get it. These people are so. And it's the same for Bill Gates and all these other people. It's all the same. That Amazon guy too. He's got 100 billion or something. 150 billion. Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, he's the richest guy now. That's what I hear.
So I've read this UN stuff that it takes an injection of like what was it, like 55 billion or something one-time fee to cure world hunger. You will, and Jeff Bezos, if you just give 55 billion, you will still be the richest guy in the world. You'll have like 100 billion still, and you will have cured world hunger, and everyone can be happy. Yeah. Like, when did we ever get to the point that 100 billion is not enough money? You need more and more.
Yeah, it's like once you get past the billion, do you need any more?
No, but it's like bragging right thing, or
it's like, dude, I'm going for a trillion.
Well, no, that's why you get guys like Soros and stuff like here. You know, it's like one guy. I guess it could be a competition. It's like one guy is going to do so much with his money. It's like, look, I'll show you what I can do with 4 or 5 billion. And go take over some country. It's like, you know, now you're talking. He's like the old man. You know, it's like, really, I mean, he is. You know, as far as a bad guy, I mean, you got to respect, you know, some of the shit he's able to pull off. I mean, it's totally illegal. It's like he doesn't face any shit for it. I mean, who else can go around taking over countries? And it's like no big deal. You know? You got to be plugged in to do that. Sure, you might have the money, but you can't just go around doing whatever you want, right? Killing people and all that. But apparently you can if you're George Soros. You know, what's the body count over there in that revolution? I mean, it's not like it was a bloodless revolution. Nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's left. Here's what I think. Leftist politics leads to this. It's like, you know, if you're tied in with their goals, you can get away with stuff like that. That's why even our what you would call right wing or you know, Republicans, you're truly not right wing, or you wouldn't stand for stuff like that. You know, you're willing to go along with it, so you're a leftist too. You know, you don't. Where's the UN? Well, you know, it's like, where is it? Right? It's just like, it's amazing that you could. To me, it's like, even with that much money, that you can still get away with it like that. How do you buy everybody off so that they shut up and actually slap you on the back and make you the man of the year? You know, it's like, really?
Yeah,
that's a big step, right? I mean, it's like, you know.
Yeah, but like also the history books are not writing about it. Historians are not writing about it. Well, I actually do know it, that no matter what kind of politics these people impose on us at the top, these are these corporations and this small group of billionaires running everything. And you can call it like democracy, or you can call it like whatever you want, but it is actually a few corporations, few bankers, and few billionaires running everything. And you can actually see it when they put in Bush and then his son, and then Clinton, and then his wife runs. This is not an open democracy at all. This is bullshit. You can't have it. You have 350 million people to choose from, and you're stuck with the father and then his son and then a guy and his wife. Like,
yeah,
I don't believe in that.
If you're, you can get away with that in America because Americans are so sheepish. They accept that. They don't see it as like this is some kind of dynasty and shouldn't be, and all this secret society stuff. They just, okay, you know, as long as they're doing okay, they'll put up with a government like that. Do it all the time.
Oh yeah, but it's just the same here too. I mean, we do have more political parties, but it is always these famous politicians, and it's their kid getting in, and he becomes like high up at a certain political party. Still the same people again. They do the same thing. There's these families are ruling political parties. It's just exactly the same here.
Yeah, the democracy, that's just what they tell you, but that's not what's really going on. No, it's just, and there's more and more of it going on all the time as the families get bigger and more societies, and they get embedded in everything. It's nepotistic. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, but they are also saying like they are giving you free choice to choose, but they are deciding who you can choose from.
Right. You elect them, so you elect whoever they select.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're not really electing shit. You know, they give you two candidates who they've already decided on. Pick either one. They don't care because they're all bought and paid for. It's like, knock yourself out. Vote harder. That'll solve everything. Yeah, man. Next time you hit that lever, let's really turn it hard, man. You're voting harder.
It's the manipulated consumer mindset. Like that free choice is suddenly the choice between which phone to buy. You're still buying a phone. Like, okay, you have the free choice to choose, like in the phone store, whatever phone you want, but they still decide what phones are like in that actual store, and you're actually always buying the same phone. You're always buying a phone.
Yeah. Do I want to support Finnish billionaires or Chinese billionaires or American billionaires? Who should I buy my phone from?
Yeah, like and in the US it's even so visible because it has like a two-party system, and in here it's more like you're always buying the same pizza, and they're all a different slice of the same pizza. But it is all the same, the same group. I think.
The illusion of choice.
Yeah. I mean, it never hurts to repeat that more often. Like people actually should realize it. And then there's the media that makes or breaks politicians too. And it's also in control.
You know what? I mean, that wouldn't work. I mean, I see so many people get distracted. It's just like they can't seem to keep in their minds that they're, really like how their government operates and the shit that they're telling you. It's like they wake up the next day and they've forgotten everything. It's just like, oh yeah, I've done it. They're going through the day, and it's just, they forget everything that they should remember, and then they fall into the same traps. It's like you bounce between Republican or Democrat or so forth. It's just like you're in a loop, and you don't seem to, even rats learn quicker. Is the statement I always use, because it's like, look, these guys play the same tricks on you it happens every 4 years. They tell you a bunch of shit, they lie to you, and then they get in office, and it's like, oh yeah, and then so what happens? Like, yeah, that's right, man, you're right. Thanks for telling us that. And then what do? They do the same thing over and over. It's like, how do you get away with the same trick over and over? That's what gets me. It's like for generations, just over and over and over, you see the same patterns. It's incredible.
Yeah.
People, I mean, it's like they don't really use their brains fully or something. It's like, dude, there's a big step missing. That shouldn't happen. You should be fucking smarter than that.
Yeah. It's because it's all one club at the top, right? And they support each other, and they write history together too. Like so they actually write what to the new generations. They actually read what these people have written about themselves, what is like allowed in the history books, what is allowed in the mainstream media. And I mean, 25 years from now, all these children getting born, they will read about George Soros being an amazing Times Magazine Person of the Year for his liberal democracy stuff. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Because the big media writes it.
His son will own the company that prints that book so that you can read it.
Oh yeah. Huffington Post or whatever will write about it. Will still be there, of course. Daily Beast is another one. Interesting. Yeah. That has Chelsea Clinton on the board of directors. Like I don't like Trump because he's also part of the same little group. I know they are like all playing. I know Trump plays golf. When he's done with his presidency, he will play like golf with Hillary again. But like the Daily Beast is like pushing this narrative, this pro-Clinton narrative against Trump always. Other media take over that entire stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have like Fox News pushing the other way.
Well, I mean, it's just like, how craven do you have to be to push a Jezebel like Hillary Clinton? I mean, it's like, that's way out there, man. That's, I mean, if you're gonna, now I know some good Democrats though, man. They think that all that stuff they hear on the news about all these things that Hillary Clinton done is just like all right-wing propaganda, and that's just like Fox News bullshit. They don't believe any of it, man. They honestly love Hillary Clinton. Really? It's the damnedest thing it blows me away, man.
It's weird. I actually did like Bernie Sanders, for example. Like just his character and how he was like speaking, and he really touched all the people. They were all listening to him, and when he said like, "We are the 99%," I thought like, "Well, this is a great guy, right?" Even if I already knew he was part of the establishment and he would give it away to Clinton because that's his job. But yeah, she just didn't connect with American people, and I think the only reason Trump won is because Hillary was so shitty.
Yeah, but I mean, that tells you a lot about it. You know, when a complete craven criminal Jezebel like her almost gets elected, that tells you a lot, man. You're like way, way far gone. You know, it never should be that close. But these people are rabid, man. They're just rabid friggin' Democrats. Like, jeez, man. You just. I
think Bernie Sanders would have eaten him alive.
Oh yeah, yeah. But this is the corporate. You know, it's just like Ron Paul. He would have beat. You know, whoever he's running against that year, you know, but no, we can't have that. See, you're never, here's what you'll notice if you really know it. You will never be given a pro-nationalist, you know, freedom and you know, not democracy, a freedom candidate. You know, you'll never see one of those guys. Oh, they'll push communists and socialists and all this democratic socialism, all this bullshit to you all day long. You'll never be given a pro-freedom and constitutionalist guy. Never.
No.
That's not one of the solutions, you know. Doesn't fit the big guys at the top, you know, so you're never given that.
I feel like these candidates, Ron Paul and Bernie Sanders, are only allowed to like rally up the grassroots left or right for these two sides. Like they're allowed to do what they're good at, to like rally up the real grassroots movements, which there are on these sides, and get them to join like the mainstream political parties. I'm not sure if they are really in with that, or that they are just doing their own stuff. But I'm kind of feeling that the establishment allows them to do that. It's like,
yeah, it's that illusion of choice again. You know, they'll let you get so close, and you'll think you have all these chances, and you're working within the system and all this crap, but it will never happen.
No,
it never happens.
I liked Ron Paul too. I always watched his stuff about the end the Federal Reserve and finally take the control back and all these things. Like, I mean, it was incredible to listen to. I mean,
yeah, he was a big part of that education process. You know, it's been going on for, I guess more so, you know, since like the 70s or 80s. I mean, there's people doing it before, but yeah, you know, he was a big educator, awakener. But you know, at the same time, I do hear some people claim it's just like, well, it's like Ron Paul never took it to that next level. He should have realized, you know, after X number of years of being there, it's like, hey, we can produce bills and do this legislation, do all this shit all day long. Ain't ever going to happen, man. Ain't ever coming out of committee, you know. So then he should have like gone to the next level, you know, whatever that. Maybe Ron Paul, the militia guy, you know, right-wing militia guy, you know, he should have stepped it up, because it's like begging for mercy and asking for it's not going to happen.
No, and then you have his son Rand is already much closer into the establishment. Like now you have that example of now Trump retweeting his stuff. That if the president retweets your stuff, a guy like Ron Paul that wouldn't even get like the exposure he needed to educate everyone. And then when the president himself starts to retweet your son and stuff, then you already know they're all into this establishment already. I mean, you can't. It's hard to look outside of the box anymore. Then.
No, if you push too hard and buck them too hard, then just forget it. You're not going to get anywhere. In their world, they can't trust you because you're talking too much freedom and capitalism. And we just can't have that. That's not what goes on here in this fascist system, and we're not going to have it. You know, we run the show. We're not interested, so you don't get that choice.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, all the founders, they warned everybody about corporate political parties. And what was one of the first things that happened in the 1800s, 30s or 40s or whenever that started to kick in was political corporate parties. You know, I mean, they just, you know, they knew how these people operate. Nobody listens. Like, oh yeah, that's funny, man. Oh yeah, all the founders, like it's a big joke, but it's just like, well, what about the truth of what they were saying? It's like, oh, fuck you, man. Oh, no, come on. Like, well, okay, it's just, you want to dive headfirst into the rabbit hole, go right ahead.
We have some trying it. I mean, you have the famous Eisenhower speech talking about the military establishment, and then later on you have JFK, of course, talking about it. And
Eisenhower's kind of sneaky. See, he talked about it, but he was one of the guys that actually put a lot of it in place. He knew exactly what he was talking about. Sneaky old germ
cover his own
general from World War II. He knew all about military-industrial complex.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was probably covering his own ass, but that's the same as with Kennedy. Kennedy was shot by them, but the Kennedy family was also a big part of the establishment right before that. I mean,
I guess. That's kind of hard to tell exactly who shot. I mean, you were kind of going against the mob. You were messing with the Russians. It's kind of hard to tell exactly where that came from. And then, of course, he died in Texas, Dallas, Texas. Not like the big Masonic capital up there. I mean, just saying, HW there and all the rest of the crew.
What were you saying, Tyler?
Oh no, the Kennedy. He went after the Federal Reserve.
Oh yeah.
That was part of it. So you just don't mess. You get too deep into messing with their system, they will kill you. Even if you're the president. I mean, that's the lesson there. So in my way of thinking, it's like, okay, no warnings from now. We're not going to tell you we're doing anything. We're not going to announce it as a politician or anything. We're just going to send the military over there and come get you.
Yeah.
We're just going to do it. Get this over with, because this bullshit's ridiculous.
Yeah, we have like the Federal Reserve in the U.S. is. It's not entirely similar to the European Central Bank, but we do have like the BIS, Bank of International Settlements. And
there's huge foreign owners. The Vatican. I mean, there's big foreign owners of the Federal Reserve. I mean, You guys own us. That's what's going on.
Yeah, European bankers.
Yeah. We get to the truth of who the true stockholders are in this deal. And like where all the money went from the 08 crash. I mean, there was like 4 or 5 trillions that just disappeared to like European banks, and you're like, why the fuck are we bailing them out? You know, it's like, what's up with that?
Yeah, you can argue that European bankers are pretty much using the American military to do their job, to do their dirty job, and the American country, of course, that is.
So you can't paint the planes and the tanks with the true owners with his because you'd have Rothschild written all across the tanks and the planes. You have to put the logo, American flag and American logo on there, and U.S. You get away with that, But if you actually, with a bunch of mercs, who work for Rothschilds, it's really, break it down, it's like, hey, wait a minute, that's not okay,
Yeah, you have multiple big banks in here. They're very powerful. Deutsche Bank is very powerful. ING in here too. They are very deeply invested in the United States. When these banks were kind of collapsing on Wall Street, and they had to dump their toxic properties, they started dumping pretty much all their possessions in Florida and stuff first. And then you had this whole area in Florida pretty much being for sale for cheap.
Really?
Yeah. Deutsche Bank, they were considered the lowest value properties because they were used with loans that they didn't expect to be repaid.
I got you.
And that has to do with the Greenspan thing about getting more credit. The advisor Greenspan, that Greenspan once said you have to get more, you have to borrow more and more because the inflation will be so high that at the end of the year you'll pay back less than you actually borrowed now because the money devaluates so fast. It was the economy was growing so fast, and then Greenspan said whatever you borrow now, and then it's you pay 5% interest, right? But because the economy is growing so fast and the money is becoming worth less, it will be worth less at the end of the year than that 5% interest.
Yeah.
So you make profit when you borrow more and more. It was but then when it comes to on halt or something, when it stops, then you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
So you have to endless growth.
That's what you see now, even with 0% rates in Europe and the U.S., you can barely keep the engine going, man. And the rates just creep up a little bit, and all of a sudden, man, car sales drop off big time, home sales drop off big time. You can't seem to get back to the old environment, the old interest rate ways, where people were saving in the bank and all that. It's they're stuck on this cheap and easy money, the way they've designed things now. I mean, they're really working themselves into a problem, because what's next? Negative interest rates, they try that somewhere too, it's
negative interest.
The Japanese have at different times, and I think there's several places that are doing that now.
Several European banks already have it too.
Yeah, it's just you're addicted to 0%, and then you have to pay them to keep their phony system working. It never ends as they get richer and richer and steal it all.
Yeah. So I was discussing this with my dad when he came over earlier this week. He said to me why are the banks not paying any interest anymore for the money we put on our banks? It's we could just put it in a sock and just keep it at home. And then said this European Central Bank is printing euros endlessly, and it is handing it out without any interest to these banks. So they don't need to pay you interest because they don't need to borrow your money anymore. They can get everything for zero interest at the ECB. So the only reason they pay you interest is because they borrow it from you instead of from them.
Yeah, they figured out a better system. We'll take over your government, make them print, give us free money, and we make more, and you pay for it. I mean, it's a better system for them, right?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. You got to remember who's in charge here, and where the real priorities are, because they don't give a fuck about you and me, man. Doesn't matter where you're from.
No, exactly.
This is a global tactic now, man. They figured it out how to. And once again, they keep money away from the little guy, because if you did have something, and you did have enough money in the bank to live off of, saying not all that long ago when you could get still 5 or 6%. Oh no, we're going to take that away from you too. It's all about our crony capitalist banking system and crony corporate system. That's what's important. Pumping up the stock. Free money for us, the big guys. It's reverse Robin Hood.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is like
steal from the poor and give to the rich.
Yeah, that's difficult to understand for many people that the banks actually they used to pay like let's say they paid like 3% to borrow it from a central bank, and then when they can pay you 2.5%, they would borrow it from you, and they pay that, and then they get it actually a little cheaper than from central bank. But when they can get it for free, they don't have to pay you anything. And what they did with it was just invest everything directly, right, and not keep nothing saved up, and the investments go wrong, and everything's lost. There's no backing. There's no backing in gold. Nothing.
No, that's their gold. They've stolen it. It's their gold now. Well, there's a few countries that are picking up quite a bit of gold, but most Western countries they don't do that anymore. It's just an obvious plan. It's just like isn't it obvious when you're the guy that has the black boot on your face? Shouldn't it be obvious what's going on by then?
No, you go, thank you, sir. May I have another?
They have, okay, you lick the boot. Yeah. You lick the boot a little harder so it shines better. Okay.
Yeah, no, one more kick to the face. Yeah, thank you, sir. May I have another?
It's like, what does it take to wake people up? Yeah. Well, the French are finally getting it, but the problem with the French is they're pissed off, but it's like they don't know what to do exactly. It's like I don't know. Maybe they don't know what the next step is, or
they can't do it alone. That's all.
Actually, the French pretty much get to the point. Remember when that what's it plant was going to shut down, and then one of the workers, it was a car plant, and then one of the workers put a bomb in the plant and said, "If you shut down the plant, I'm blowing it up," and he was dead serious too.
Oh yeah, the French. Yeah,
they know how to get shit done though.
Yeah, that's true. But these people actually know how to force their government to do shit, for sure. But I've got a feeling the country itself is too deep in already to get out on their own.
Maybe. I think so.
Well, you got to get rid of the leadership. I mean, just continuing to do this and leaving Macron there and the rest of the cronies, they're just going to sit there and wear you out. You got to do something about them.
What's his approval rate? It's in the 20s, right?
Yeah, it's like 18, 16. It's dropping.
So when you have two candidates which are the most popular, you have the right wing Marine Le Pen, and you have the left wing Mélenchon. Both are about the same. So this Mélenchon guy is like super left wing. He's like more like communist style left wing. And you have extreme right Marine Le Pen. Or actually, they say she's extreme right, but she's like a nationalist and against immigration and stuff and all these things. So there you have like two opposites again. But then there is the question: are they really opposites? Is it all a hoax again? So yeah.
Well, the thing I hear about Le Pen is she has the two things you said, but also that she's at the same time intertwined with some French unions that gives her that's socialist and like labor kind of bend, enough to, at least be a force. But Yeah, I mean, it's just like everybody's compromised. It's like, come on, man. Do all you guys have to be bought off? I mean, really, is it that easy? Are you so pathetic that you don't give a shit? It's just all about you guys and your racket. And anybody give a shit about the people in the country? Come on. But more and more, you see that they don't care, man. You know, it's just it's like seemed like years ago. I mean, politics was always a problem, but at least like your leaders gave a shit about the country and about the people. You know, at least to a certain extent. You know, like help them get along and get a little more. But now it's like they really don't care about you. Like you're in the way.
Yeah, but then there's this difficult question, and that is like again, like why did like Trump win? It was because Hillary was, of course, such a bad alternative. And now you have like this thing with Macron. Like, does he really want to stop a person like Marine Le Pen? And because he is actually feeding her right now and making it worse and worse. I think his professionals around him already know, or at least told him that if you make it worse right now, you're only feeding into Le Pen or in Mélenchon. So doesn't he understand this, or is this happening on purpose? Like, I don't get it.
Well, he's a Rothschild banking puppet, right? I think he might be in that world for so long. He's actually detached that he doesn't see it. He sees the world that he's in now, and everything's okay. And he's bought into the politics that they want and saying the things they want him to say. And I just don't. You know, you look at him and some of the speeches he made, it's just like I don't think he gets it. I really don't.
It's like brainwashed, this guy, because he should understand that what he's doing now. He is doing the job for the anti-EU people now, because he's making it worse and worse. The yellow vests are growing because of what he is doing. Like, he's actually like, you have to support whatever the people say. You have to at least give them something. You have to at least say, like, I understand that you guys are feeling like this. I understand what is going on, because you are talking about probably a majority in France. So just saying, you're talking about the working class people being hurt, and the working class probably is the majority in France. So I'm saying,
well, you know, their basic plan has a problem, because at some point they have to break away. They can no longer like give you something and take control. There has to be that point at which it turns, and they have to start treating you like shit and take things away, because it's a takeover, right? That's what they really want. So we can't play this game forever of like pretending to give you something, you know, because at some point, just like now, it's like they're pretending and taking it away. That doesn't work, you know. It's like you're at that point where you have to like really push the takeover if you're going to do what you say you guys are going to do, because that's where you're at, you know. People have had enough, and yet you guys still want to push the takeover, you know.
Yeah, well, Macron, like Juncker,
it's not going to, you know, not going to be easy.
Like Macron, like Juncker, like you said, these are Euro nationalists. They're always saying, like, when you're in support of like France or like Britain, then you're like a nationalist. But these guys are Euro nationalists. They want a European state. They are obsessed with getting a super state done, and it has to be a competitor opposed to the US and opposed to China, like in public. Like behind the scenes, we all already know that they're like all in the same club, but they want a Euro super state with the central bank in Frankfurt in Germany, and their parliament in Brussels in Belgium, and that's what they want, and they're obsessed with doing it. But I think it's unfair to call the pro-country people the right wingers or the nationalists, because they are the nationalists too. Yeah. Like, this is unfair. Because they are acting like they are not the nationalists. They're acting like they are like the open borders people, the free movement people, and everything. But it's not like that. They want a European superstate, and probably they will have their borders around the EU too. They just want their superstate done, and
yeah, they just have to convince you to give up your government and your sovereignty and hand it all to Juncker,
yeah,
and the rest of the crew, and yeah, you know.
Yeah, what they're building on is mostly Eastern European countries, because there is a middle way. Like the Western European countries, like Britain, Netherlands, France, and stuff, they were actually there were a lot of human rights in here, but then in the East there were a lot less human rights. They were more like into the old Soviet stuff. They had like very little rights and stuff. So the European Union is actually giving more rights to the Eastern European countries, but our rights are being restricted. It's like the middle, that they're choosing like the middle of it, and so that it will be more restricting for us, but it will be more freedom for them. So they're getting more their support from the East, while the West is like literally moving against it now, like even like with the ACTA and all that stuff.
Where does that come from? I mean, how can you be if you're? I mean, I think it'd be like here. You're even if you're in the EU, you're all equal under the EU, right? But what you're describing is like we can play this game of playing people off even within the EU when you're supposed to be already under our banner, and now we're still playing this game of like some people over here do better than others. Well, you're not in an equal under the law environment. You know, that's the problem there.
Yeah,
people should be king on that big time. It's just like, well, hey, wait a minute. If we're all the same, then we're all the same. You know.
Yeah, but like what I'm like saying is the EU law is less free than than the laws in Belgium or Netherlands, but it is more free than the old laws in the Eastern European countries. So there is a main law for everyone, but it is for them it means more freedom, and for us it means less. So that's simply it, because the countries here were like super free. I mean, you know that in Amsterdam they have open prostitution and open weed smoking and stuff. So that is not allowed under EU law. So
that's too much freedom, right? I mean, it's like, come on, it's like, you know, can't. You know, it's like, really, it's like, you know, at this day, it's like, why is that such a big deal? It's like, come on, you know, it's like always playing this game of a bunch of authoritarians who want to tell everybody what to do, man. It's like, get lost, man. That's just,
yeah.
I just don't know how they get away with that. It's just, the politicians are so pathetic. Well, they are here too. Just, they get bought off so easy with such small amounts of money. You know, it shows like how a guy with Soros can, you know, even though you're talking billions of dollars, it's like, it really doesn't take that, you know, if you just hand everybody $10,000 and if that's enough for them to sell out their country, it's like, man, you're making it easy on these guys. You know, you're selling out cheap. You know? That's all it takes. Oh, yeah, you're just worried about their next campaign donation. It's like, all right, so you totally cheesed your country so you could have your next campaign. It's like, man, you talk about some short-sighted assholes, man.
Yeah, like we do actually have some free media still in here, and these European politicians are like the most corrupt people you will ever meet. Like, they're like, most of them don't even show up to their meetings, to their debates. What they literally do is they travel to this building, or they get someone to travel for them to this building. They sign their attendance that they were there, and they leave again. Because if they sign their attendance, yeah, they sign it, and then they get paid. So literally, they make like maybe like 15,000-20,000 a month, only to be like active. Like, they don't have to do anything. They just have to sign that they were there, and they get their 20,000 a month or something, or 30,000.
Jeez.
Yeah, so they just go there and they leave again. They don't even care. This is like that's the style of people you're dealing with, and then you want these people to decide about an area of 500 million people? Like, really?
Yeah.
It is 500 million, so that's about the US with Mexico in it. That's about the amount of people, I think.
Oh, yeah, similar. Yeah, us, Canada, and Mexico. Yeah, it'd be be very similar.
Yeah, about the same size as Canada, US, and Mexico, and in amount of people. And these people are like deciding over it, and they don't even care. They don't even. There was a whole there are some journalists did a whole investigation into that, and they actually confronted them like in the parking lots and stuff. And there were some politicians who were laughing about it. They were just admitting it. They were just saying like, "Yeah, of course we can, so we do it."
Yeah, they could. They could. Well, that's the thing. See, they can laugh about it now because there is no justice worldwide. You just steal from the people, and there used to be somebody like that. They'd get a real, sad face because it's like, oh man, God, you busted us, and here the next thing would be here comes the FBI, and they'd be throwing your ass in jail, right? But oh no, not now. It's like that's how we do it. That's new government.
Yeah. It's it is shocking actually because if these people are like deciding who we like go to war with and stuff, like they're like deciding over like human lives, and they don't even show up at debates. And the problem is the guys who do show up, they're like the worst of the worst, because those are the people who have their plans with everything, and they always show up, of course.
Well, you have to have these paid lackeys.
Yeah. But France. Let's hope the French people actually are strong enough to do it, and let's hope that they get some support from Britain too, the Brexit people. That's another story.
But there you can't, you can't even get them to do a no confidence vote on May. It's like, well, we're going to stand up, we have this vote, and then nothing. You're just like, it's like they don't care anymore. It's like it's all part of the plan. It's all just run out the clock, keep BSing around until you just forget about Brexit.
Brexit, but they're just gonna push that to the side as long as they can.
Yeah, it's just a name. It's just a slogan because they don't seem to have any intention of really doing it.
But the Eurofascists are lying to them. They're lying to them. They're saying like the UK will collapse. There will be nothing left for you.
That's not true.
The trade
they just know that the UK is a powerhouse for shady business deals and banking terms.
Oh yeah.
It's like they call it, what is it? That's the Bank of Corruption, the main one.
That's the City of London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the heart of corruption.
The old city, yeah.
Yeah. Well, but the UK only has the trade with the EU is only 12%. I think it does more trade with the United States than it does with the EU. Norway is their biggest trading partner, and it's not even in the EU. So they're being scared. They're scaring them, and but they're lying to these people because they're saying like Europe is the same thing as the EU, but it's not the same thing. We don't if we want to agree on free travel or free trade, it doesn't mean we have to agree on a central government. We can still have these free trade pacts and free travel pacts and stuff. We've had it all the time. We have a free travel pact with Belgium and with Luxembourg, and we have free travel with the Schengen agreement with Germany, between Netherlands and Germany. There's free travel. There's not, but the government were never involved with each other. They just allowed free trade because all the products arrive in our harbor in Rotterdam, and they just wanted to have it quickly reach Germany, their German consumer market. So they just agreed with the business rules that we just open the border so all your freight carriers don't have to wait in line at the border. It's as easy as that. You can drive right away from Rotterdam to Berlin. That's just it. There's never a central government needed. So they're scaring these British and thinking leave the central government and you're all out of the EU or whatever. You're all out of Europe. This is not true.
But if they can, but this is how they get you every time. If they can gaslight you and scare you and propagandize you with that argument, it's a total fallacious argument. It's not true, like you say. But if they can tell you that shit and you'll believe it, they win.
Yeah,
this is
repeat it.
Yeah, and they just keep doing it over and over and over because the population in general will put up with it
or believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they're talking. They're a lot. They could just continue to repeat it. They're talking about tariffs, like Trump also said about like put tariffs on Chinese products. They're talking about tariffs, like, oh no, if we leave, then the EU will put tariffs on us and stuff. But you're talking about a capitalist system. I mean, the businesses decide they will buy British stuff when the British stuff is required by consumers, and there's very little to do with a central EU government, and they're just lying. But yeah, I hope these British understand this, and I hope they just go through with it, because they can always rejoin it. I mean, they can always rejoin the EU, but at least they can now bargain something. They can now really take some control over their country.
Yeah.
So, yeah. France can't do it on their own. British they have got like a little better position because they always kept the pound sterling as a coin. So they can do it. I mean, they can, just like the US, they can bargain. They can make their own trade deals, and France has it's a little more problematic for France to do that.
Yeah.
Still, they can, but yeah. They need help. Then, if the French want to do this, they need help, and it has to be from certain Northern European countries to do it. It has to do with the banking stuff again, and the big debts the country is in. I mean, the bankers are in debt. They are deliberately enslaved by the EU financial system.
Yeah.
So.
There used to be a solution for that, is you just stiffed them, and then if you had a bigger navy or an army than they did, it'd be like, come get your money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What you gonna do about it? You got a machine gun pointed out. What you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
That's what really should happen.
If somebody started treating you bad enough, you just go, well, fuck you. Come do something about it.
So, and that's what the Yellow Vests are saying too. The Yellow Vests are saying we will just nationalize everything that's important to us, and we will just not pay it anymore. We just nationalize our stuff and we take it away from the EU, and we're just not going to pay it. So
as long as you still have an army and the EU doesn't, well, they seem to be getting it together, rather quickly here, but before that happens, you still have a chance. Just stiff them. That's the kind of people you're dealing with. Treat them like they treat you. Treat them like shit. Tell them to get lost.
Yeah. It's like that's saying, like, if you owe the bank like $100, then you got like a problem. But if you owe the bank 200 million, then the bank really has a problem.
Yeah.
You can't repay it. I mean. So yeah, that's what France can do. I mean, just not pay it, not give it anymore to these people. But yeah, that is what they use as a tool. They did this against Greece. Greece wanted to leave the European Union, and they wanted to introduce their own currency again, the Greek drachma. They wanted to introduce this, but of course, Greece was in debt, and these economists say it takes exactly 1 year to introduce a new currency everywhere. It takes exactly 1 year, then your new currency is there. But because they were in debt, they knew all the financial speculators would speculate against the Greek drachma. So after that 1 year, it would be worth nothing.
Yeah.
The Greek currency. So that's why they can't do it.
They just sold off Greece to everybody under the sun.
Yeah, and so France is another country where the banks are in big debt. So if the France decides from like, we're going to reintroduce the French franc, it takes 1 year to introduce it, but after that 1 year is gone, all the speculators will have speculated against the franc, and it will be worth nothing compared to the euro. So, and that is why only
They told they told that to Iceland too. I mean, it was all the same threats. We're going to cut off your air travel, we're going to cut off your banking, and they did it anyway, and nothing happened. In fact, they jailed some bankers. They showed you how it works. It's like you just tell them to go get fucked, and you go arrest the bankers, and you show them how it works. You guys are not in control. You're bullshit. You guys talk your talk, but your bullshit can't walk.
Yeah.
Because it's all bullshit.
Yeah,
We got
Iceland,
the
yeah.
army. We have the government. This is our country.
3 minutes, guys.
Oh, that's fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a Yemen activist looking to come in tomorrow. Early evening UK time.
What time is this going to be?
Like early evening UK time, 1900 or something, or 800.
So it's like maybe noon or 1 o'clock here tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so. It's like between 6 and 9 hours earlier in there.
Okay.
Depending on where you live, East Coast or West Coast. Tyler, I think it's 9. I think it's like 9.
9 in the morning.
9 hours back, so
9
it
hours
was
difference, yeah.
11. Just.
I'm not even a morning person.
California sunshine.
See, I'm putting on my London clock right here on my phone. That's why I always know what time it is where you guys live.
I think London is 8 hours difference.
You know, it's
If I live
like,
in
it's like
Japan,
6, 7, almost 7 a.m.
Yeah,
It's less.
so 8 a.m. here. So.
Alright, I guess we can roll out with the credits. We'll be back, I guess, tomorrow. Not sure what. I don't know. I can't do this in my head right now. Sometime in the morning. So
Yeah, around 12.
1900,
California time.
1900 GMT. Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
1900 GMT. So if you're gonna listen to the show, just adjust your clocks to that time, and we'll roll out with the credits.
All right. So long.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.